we've just about to come back on from morning tea. You can see people getting their cup of tea and this, that and the other. We've had a full house. We've got people sitting in chairs and on the floor and all that sort of stuff. So I'm feeling a bit like Paul McCartney. Maybe hopefully a couple of years younger than Paul McCartney, but yeah. Okay, so what we'll do, guys, I'm just going to get it underway, and if you're watching on your phone or tablet or computer or what have you, we'll be underway in about 30 seconds. Well, mate, that'll be fine.
That's the end of the video there.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
That's
that book. We can do the book. We can start there. That'll be fine. Good, mate. Okie dokie, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, give me a second. Okay, good. Again, good start. Okay, guys. Well, if you can just take a seat and we'll get rocking and rolling. And for those who are on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us again. What we'll do here is. I thought I'd mention to you guys, if I'm in this thing called the Institute of Wow, when you're a speaker and you do this whole thing, you've apparently got to write a book. And so therefore, I've written the odd book and, the normal, regular sort of book, but I can't help myself if I'm actually going to be Mr. Wow, then I figured that we might write just a bit bigger book. And so therefore, I put this book together a little while ago, and this is called the Wow Manifesto. And inside this book, you'll see a bit of it up on the screen in a moment, is pretty much the last 15 years of all of the most successful marketing campaigns and promotions I've been involved in. We didn't put the ones that didn't work in the book. I decided that would be best if they were left in the bottom of the filing cabinet. But in here, it's a pretty good swipe file. And I thought maybe I would show you this, not just to show off, part of it's to show off, but also to suggest to you that if you are going to be in the business of selling your services, then it's important that you demonstrate your wizardry. And again, if we can just get a show of hands, who in the room is in the business of providing advice? Okay, quite a few of us. So you're an accountant, you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you might be a financial planner, you might be a mortgage broker, you might be, like me, a marketing coach. And so therefore you might like to just consider that if you do something like a book, which is, a lot of people think is hard yards, I understand that. It can take a bit of discipline, but that'll be the best business card that you've got, because you can hand that out. Now this one here costs $450 a book to print, whereas this one over here, which we sell for $30, probably costs $5 or $6 or $7 to print. So therefore the thing is that this one we mostly sell online, because I don't think too many people want to. I mean, if I'm printing it for $450 with the IP that's in here, I'd want to sell it for a few $1,000s, of course. So therefore, it's not a matter of selling books; it's a matter of that book actually demonstrating your wizardry. So what I thought I'd do is actually show you that this book is actually part of what everyone gets when they come on board. And I just thought I'd play a little video for you that it goes for, I don't know, 60 seconds, and you'll see if we can get that up. You'll see what the book's all about. Okay, I thought my voice was on there, but it's not. So therefore, throughout that entire book, we have about 10 chapters, and it talks all about how to position yourself as the expert, the emotional direct response stuff. There's lots of case studies in there. How to fix your website. We've got lots of layouts in there you can pinch. How to do events, how to get video testimonials, how to get free publicity. And of course, I couldn't write one of these books without showing off at the end of it and doing the whole Seinfeld thing. I think he comes up in a moment, but yeah. Okay, so the thing is that what I want to stress to you is if you're going to write a book, we don't much care about your history. You might put a little bit of bio in there, what you've done and so forth. The history that we're interested in mostly is the history that demonstrates that you are the expert. Now, I reckon I am the best marketing guy in the country, and you can sit there and go, well, what a show off, and that's fine, I don't really care, I've got no feelings. So the thing is that if I am going to promote myself, do you think I'm going to promote myself as the #1 marketing guy in the country? You better believe it. And if anyone wants to take me on, I don't mind. We'll get 2 butcher papers up here, I'll sit here, and John Singleton can sit over there, and we'll take questions from the audience, and let's see who's going to fill that. And the guy that's on that whiteboard is still there wondering what to write, and I've filled up 3 or 4 pages. So I don't mind backing myself in that regard. I don't want you to say that you're the expert, though, if you're not. You don't want your heart surgeon doing that, would you? Okay? So therefore, only if you are really good at something, you should be saying that you're really good at it. But who at the moment in the room who has a business where you impart advice thinks they're pretty good? Otherwise, you wouldn't be in it. If I'd said in all my advertising, you can take a day off work and spend the day with me, and I'm the 26th best marketing guy in Australia, who would have come to that? Okay? Your husband or your wife would have said to you this morning, what are you doing? I'm going to see the 26th best guy at whatever he does. I would be looking for the other 25. So the thing is you've got to understand is if you are pretty good at something, then make sure you're not shy about it. There's not much money in the world is made by introverts. Have you noticed that? Introverts don't really make much money. And normally they're ugly too. I don't know why, but introverts are ugly. Yeah? Okay, so therefore, I can see someone down the room going, well, I'm even more introverted now. You just said I was ugly. Okay. Right, number 2 on that wheel of wow is create a wow factor and take their eyes off the price, which is the Happy Meal toy. They've been doing it for quite some time. Kellogg's have been doing it for about 50 years with the free toy in the box. These guys have been doing it since 1996. Woolworths, ironically, are in the price discounting game, and even they want to take your eyes off the price. Isn't that ironic? Do you know I had Groupon contact me last year to ask me if I could help them take the eyes off the price of their customers, which of course are restaurants and cafes and hotels and stuff like this. Get what business? Groupon are in. Yeah, 50% off. But what they did, they had the whole planet to themselves for a while because, you know, restaurants and hairdressers and everyone else would say, oh yeah, look, you know, we'll offer the $100 voucher for our hairdressing salon for $50 because that's what Groupon forces you to do. And Groupon used to take 20, 30% of that $50. They used to take 50% of the $50. That's how it worked. And then because, you know, other Scoop-Ons and Kudo and all sorts of other ones came along, guess what Groupon had to do? They had to drop their commission, had to drop their price. So instead of like you a $100 voucher at the hairdressing salon, Groupon would say that if you want us to promote you on our website to all of our gazillion people, you've got to take a bath at 50%. You go, okay. So the hairdresser would go, okay, for the $100 coupon, we will take a bath and we'll just actually give it away for $50. And then guess what? Groupon took 50% of the 50. So if it were a $100 thing, there was only $25 left. Now, if the hairdresser salon was smart and captured the data, then that may have made sense because then they could upsell at full tariff. But no hairdresser did that because they were suffering from dickheaditis, okay? And so therefore, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I know. You know, members of this program of mine become as cheeky as me because we have this 24/7 Facebook club where they can contact me at any time, okay, and ask anything. I had one this morning that's going to New Zealand on Monday and he needed a quick layout for a brochure for New Zealand. I sketched it up here this morning, took a photo of it, sent it off to him. So the thing is, when people come on my program, you don't get Susie, okay? You know how so many of these people get up here, you see the old fart that's got half a brain doing the song and dance, but you join his program and who do you get? Susie, you know, she's got out of school, she's #1 client at Proactive. And so she's going to look after telling you how to run your business. That is not what we do. It'd be like you signing up this program and you get Jody, you know, like... I was waiting for her. You know what she gets upset with? It really pisses me off. She'll screw up things every now and again, and too often. And I'll say to her, "You do realise, don't you? I can replace you with a monkey. You do realise that, don't you?" And I say, "Jodie, don't you realise? I get hit by a bus, this whole thing falls over. You get hit by a bus, I just get a monkey. I get someone to do whatever you do." See the smoke pouring out of her ears and. Okay, later. Any lady that's on there is probably left, and most of the women in here hate me now. So anyway, the thing is that if you are an expert, make sure you position yourself as an expert, and also if you are going to take their eyes off the price, mostly you'll take their eyes off the price. If you're an expert, if you notice that people pay Gordon Ramsay more money to make their dinner for them, okay, than a normal chef, people would pay Don Burke a lot more money to do the landscaping. And yeah, I know. I'm really running out of expert names here that I could ever use. Let's go to Hollywood. No. Okay, so therefore these guys, 4 cents a litre off the petrol. I didn't dream up that one, but boy, I was around when this hit, and it's big time. Sorry? It's against the law now. They're not allowed to. Yeah, that's right. I saw that the other day in the paper. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. They screwed it for themselves though, because they got the ACCC with a magnifying glass when they started to actually take over the gas stations, and they lifted the prices and then gave you 4 cents off. So they deserved what they got. These guys here, of course, I've been through that with you. Get a home loan, get a free holiday. Does that look like a normal bank ad to you? No. And you don't want to look like a normal butcher's ad or a normal accountant's ad. You don't want to look normal. Okay. So therefore you want to make sure you stand out. That's what Challenger brands do. And that's what that looked like. This is one of the ads that we ran for all those years with the Greater Building Society. Have a look at this and you tell me, A, does it look like a normal bank ad for a home loan? And B, if you can see a price anywhere in here. You won't see a price.
We stayed at the Brits on Broadbeach, and as I said, it was just wonderful. We opened the door and there it was, right over the beach and right over the city lights, and we couldn't believe our eyes, really. Get a home loan from the Greater Building Society and choose yourself a free holiday. No catches, no competitions. Call the Greater on 13 13 86. For me and you.
Did that seem longer than 30 seconds to you? See, 30-second ads normally go pretty quick, but if you don't scream at them, and scream at them is, Rugs a million, we're going broke this weekend, so 48 hours say, Rugs a million, if we don't go broke this weekend, we'll probably go broke next weekend, so you better get... That is the ugly direct response, okay? You don't want to go down that path, because I know that at the morning tea break, a few of you might have said, oh yeah, sounds all right, but I don't really want to go down that ugly path of hurting my brand. We're not talking about that. Palazzo Versace, if I was looking after their marketing, I would not do what they do during winter, where they just drop their pants and tell people from Sydney and Melbourne to come up for half price. What do you think that does to the Palazzo Versace brand? Takes it from the penthouse to the shithouse without taking the elevator, okay? So therefore you don't want to do that, okay? What you want to do is protect and enhance your brand, and the way to do that would be the Palazzo Versace. They've got 2 gold Rolls Royces sitting outside the hotel doing nothing. If you come up from Sydney and Melbourne during the winter, because we're still warmer, we're going to pick you up from the airport in our stretch limo or our gold Rolls Royce. And when you come to the Palazzo Versace, we're going to give you a butler service for the entire weekend that you're here. They employ 2 or 3 butlers. They'll ask you to do some stupid thing and shine their shoe or something once, and then they'll get over that, all right? So you only need 2 butlers for the weekend. And then you give them free tickets to the Jupiter's casino show or theme parks, whatever it might be. Now that will cost nowhere near 50% off the tariff, and it'll protect their brand, okay? So, you know, direct response advertising doesn't have to be corny. It doesn't have to be the Carrie Ann Kennedy ab swings. It doesn't have to be, it can be upmarket and classy. Okay, so, give me a look. I don't know why. I've got to show you this one. These people here. It's the Greater Building Society commercial again. And when I used to go out to the homes with a camera crew, I would try and get the best I could out of Bill and Betty Bankstown, okay? Now, this particular, and the husband would never talk, like me, they're just, husbands are dickheads, we don't know what's going on, and like, I don't even, there was the passport office rang me up a few years back when our kids were a bit younger, and we're going over to America, Disneyland, whatever, and Gail, my wife, was at the passport office, and they said, listen, we have to find out, you know, whether you're really the father, so therefore can you give me the middle name of one of your children? I went, what? And they said, oh no, can you give me the birth date of your children? I went, no. And they said, well, I said, pick one. And so they picked, I don't know, Patrick, and I said, no, pick another one. And they said, Brett, and I went, no, you got any other questions, like can I ring a friend or anyone? And they said, well, what about the middle name? So, right, okay, go on. He goes, what about Brendan? You got another one? And this went on. And it was a lady, and she said, this is not going anywhere. I said, no, it isn't. And she said, well, do you know any of the middle names of any of your 6 children? I said, I didn't even know I had 6 children. Anyway, this went on until I snagged a middle name and proved that I was the father, so we got the passports and this, that and the other. So, men, we don't worry about any of these things. So, therefore, the fact of the matter is, when we went out to do these testimonials in homes with a camera crew, lights and all this sort of stuff, we knew the man would never talk. He was normally the breadwinner and the wife did the actual paperwork, the bookwork and this, that and the other, okay? So Gail, I've got no wallet. I can't have a wallet because I just lose them. So she just gives me money. That's on the kitchen in the morning. I just grab it. If there's enough there to eat, then that's fine. And so knowing that, this particular guy here was in Gosford. He had a few motorbikes parked outside the house when the camera crew rolls up. We think he's a mass murderer. We're not really sure. But so therefore I said to the camera crew, we aren't going to ask him any questions. So the wife did that. And have a look at this testimonial on TV. This just melted their switchboard, and you just drop to your knees and say, thank you, there is a God.
What will leave your bank for the Greater?
Why would I put money into the bank when they charge me for every transaction? They charge me if I use internet banking, they charge me if I use phone banking, they charge me if I use an ATM, they charge me more if I line up for 20 minutes and hand money over the counter. It's a wonder they don't charge me to walk past the bank.
Swap your home loans at the Greater and forget about all these fees. Swap now, save on fees and get a free holiday. Call 13 13 86.
Okay, could you see an interest rate there anywhere? And when she was saying that it's a wonder they charged me for this, they charged me for that, they charged me for that, do you think I might be behind the camera and I say, it's a wonder they don't charge you to walk past the bank? And she goes, yeah. It's a wonder they don't charge you to walk past the bank. And she, oh yeah, it's a wonder they don't charge me to walk past the bank. Thank you. Good. Can you sign this form to say that was all your own words? Just to put that there, right? So the thing is, and Colin, the husband's a great guy, so if he happens to be watching this, which is very unlikely, but if he is, I know you're not really a mass murderer, okay? And if you are, it was just a joke. That's right. Okay, so therefore, then, as we went through that history of the Greater, this guy came along, and you can see there, he knows I'm funny, so he's asking me for jokes all the time, koala jokes. I told him the ostentatious one, how much can a koala bear? He didn't think that was funny, but I did. And so therefore we had him for about 3 years, and this is one of the commercials with Jerry. We'd fly over to New York. He had a deal in his contract that if he had to travel more than 50 miles away from where he lives, which is the Hamptons in New York, we had to give him a Learjet. And because he's never travelled, he can't travel in normal planes and that sort of stuff. And so therefore, because he seriously is bigger than the Pope, and so therefore we costed out a Learjet to bring him to Australia, and it was just crazy. So given that he could not travel more than 50 miles unless you gave him a plane, we found a little country town called Cedarhurst, 49 miles away from where he lived. And so we took out the town for an entire day. We paid off the town mayor, all the shops closed. I mean, we gave them, I don't know what it was, 50 grand or something, but they would have closed anyway. Jerry Seinfeld's coming to town. And it got out on the news, the helicopters, it was like, it's just stupid stuff, crazy stuff. There's helicopters, there's police blocking the streets, there's just, he can't go anywhere, this guy, right? So anyway, what we did is there was an empty shop, and this was an empty delicatessen. We just took over all the Greater Building Society stuff and created a new delicatessen. When you're dealing with a guy like that, who's a perfectionist, we had to put in gum trees in the street. All the parking meters were Australian parking meters. These are all new trees, they weren't there. All the number plates on the cars were changed to New South Wales number plates. We had to bring in Toyotas that were typical Australian cars. We couldn't show any Ford Mustangs and all that sort of stuff. So it was, when you're dealing with someone like that, he does not mess around. I was funny when we're talking about green screens, and you know, we're all used to the little green screen that the weatherman has on the news here. His green screen was the size of an IMAX theatre. So it's just big stuff, right? But the thing is that, you know, people say to me, well, what did you get Jerry Seinfeld for? Did you pay mega millions? And of course it was confidential at the time, but I can tell you now, Ricky Ponting gets $1.25 million a year reportedly from Synovus Vitamins. Jennifer Hawkins gets $1.5 million a year reportedly from Myer. We got him for 1.1 a year. Now that's 3 years, that's 3.3. He only worked 2 days a year, so we just went over and shot so it's great money for him, but boy, is that cheap. Is that cheap. So we scored one of the biggest, you know, stars in the world for, I think, a pretty moderate fee. And what he did to the business was just nuts. And you'll see here, again, tell me whether this looks like a normal home loan ad for a building, for a bank.
I'd like to talk to you about a home loan. Not for me, for you. I have a home.
Get a Getaway home loan from the Greater. It could be the most fun financial decision you'll ever make. Just ask a Greater customer.
When we shopped around for a home loan, we found the Greater had one of the lowest interest rates.
And a free holiday with over 200 choices, and there were no catches.
Get a Getaway's home loan and go on a free holiday. Or loan us some money and we'll go on a holiday. Either way, someone's getting out of here.
Okay, so therefore, does that look like a normal bank ad? Of course it doesn't, and that's why it works. You can't look like a normal, whatever business you're in, advertisement, whether it's online or whether it's TV. What happened is that as we went through this, the results were quite stunning. They tripled their home loan market share in the first 2 years of Jerry being on board. And boy, you reckon that was the best $1 million they spent? It was a steal, okay? And guess what happened? I left in the third year of him doing his song and dance, and anyway, they brought a new marketing person in. I was a consultant, I didn't work then, but I was a consultant, but I moved on because I did this, you know. And I'd been trialling this in, you know, sort of after hours, and it seemed to work, so I thought, oh, I'll give it a miss. And the guy they brought in used to run the marketing for a big, like a Telstra or someone. First thing he did, Seinfeld's management, he wouldn't know what he even got, but Seinfeld's management put his fee up from 1.1 to 1.5. And a new board came into the Greater, a board of accountants and lawyers, danger, Will Robinson, okay? Because they are left-brainers. And so therefore, when they said Seinfeld went from 1.1 to 1.5, because they knew what was going on, which is a beestick increase, right? They apparently voted not to do that. So they didn't renew the Seinfeld contract, because at the meeting, one of them told me, it was the guy that was the former chief executive there, said, JD, this new board members came in, all accountants, all lawyers. They looked at the increase from 1.1 to 1.5 and said, who does this yank think he is? He just took your business to the stratosphere, by the way. We can get Kerry Ann Kennelly for less than that. So that's the thinking you get when you mess around with left-brain people. So I'm not saying right-brained people, of course I am, because they're more creative, and the left-brained people are organisers. I'm married to a left-brained person. If she wasn't married to me, I don't know. Well, the kids would have never eaten, because, we tend to, on the right side of the brain, get distracted. Oh, butterfly, yeah. So therefore, you need the mix. So in a board, in my opinion, you do need the crazy people like me, but you need the maths and science, boring people you don't want to get caught in the lift with. But, so if you've got a mixture of that, then it's a winner. But what the grader did is put all lawyers and accountants together, and they said, oh, who does Seinfeld think he is? So they didn't get Kerry Ann Kennelly, I don't know, I think maybe Andrew Johns or someone just as big a superstar. So, and now they're back to interest rate marketing, and they have nowhere near the market share they used to have. It's just so easy. If you get it right, it's so easy. This, a few years ago, I got a few less wrinkles there, but the thing is that what I do is always take the piss out of these people when I go into the house. I'd say to them, I'd like to say you're the best we've ever had, and they thought I was serious, and they go, oh, thank you. I said, no, you didn't hear me. I said, I'd like to say that I can't, you're awful. So you can tell me whether I was cruel, the camera crew thought I was a bit nasty, but I thought it was good fun. I like criticising people.
I'd just like to say that was the best performance from anyone that we've ever had in one of these TV events.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
No, you misunderstand me. I said I'd like to say that I can't. You're pretty ordinary, actually. You're pretty ordinary. Yeah. We might have to do it all again. Crew, can we get you back again?
So I enjoyed that, and the crew hated me. They thought I was Dr. Evil, and so they decided when we were doing Seinfeld stuff that they'd get me back. And of course, as if I'm going to say no to this on a brag tape.
JD, I just want to say that you are the most professional, most confident, just best to work with marketing person I've ever worked with.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I'd like to say.
Okay. If you had got a gag with Seinfeld, you'd be playing it many years later too, okay? So get over it. Righto, so let me show you a case study on this Happy Meal stuff, because you can do it tomorrow. And before I open up this one, let anybody from a hairdressing salon here, anybody have a hair salon or beauty salon or anything like that? Nothing? Okay, righto. If I was a hairdressing salon lady, I owned a hairdressing salon, and I put a 10% discount sign, I see this by the way, and I just shut it, and I had a 10% discount sign outside the door, do you think that would just, in the era that we live in now with Groupon, do you think 10% is going to make women just rush through the door? Of course not. 20% won't do it. But I can show her how she can devote that 10% to a Happy Meal toy and flood her hair salon. It's really easy. So just get that through your head that whatever discount you were prepared to do, how far you want to drop your pants, just transfer that across into a Happy Meal toy and see the difference it makes. It's called value add marketing versus price discounting. So that hairdressing salon, if she was prepared to give up 10%, I'd say, okay, why don't we run a promotion that for every $50 that Mrs. Smith spends in here, she gets a movie point, a picture theatre cinema movie point. And when she saves up 6 movie points, she gets 2 tickets to the movies. So do you think if she's got 4 points, which meant she spent 4 times $50 at least, she's going to get her hair done anywhere else? Doesn't matter what Groupon throws in front of her, she's got only 2 points off getting 2 movie tickets. She's going to stick with you. Now, of course, if you get a movie point for every $50 and you need 6 movie points to get 2 tickets, 6 times 50, you've spent $300, okay? $300, the movie tickets are $15 each. Multiply it by 2, that's $30. When she gives away that value add Happy Meal for $30, as a percentage of the 300 it is 10%. And it will win every single time. And that's as simple as it is. That's all McDonald's do with a Happy Meal toy. I know because I dealt very closely with the company that puts all this together for them called Creative Promotion. They just designate what percentage they were willing to give up to get all those kids to buy those hamburgers, and they turn that into a toy. That's all you have to do. And this is what this guy did. It's a B2B business, okay, so don't think this is all B2C. He's a turf farm, and he's on the Tamarind Mountains. Anyways, it turned out I drove up and saw him just a few years back, and nice guy, John his name is, and I said to him, what's your problem? He said, look, I've just come down from Townsville and I bought this turf farm, and I'm stuck with 6 miles, or kilometres, whatever, let's say miles, 6 miles worth of turf. I said, how much is that? He said, as far as the eye can see over the mountain range, and that way, and it was just rolling mountains of turf. And the building boom, of course, had stopped on this particular period a few years back. And he says, I'm stuck with it. I said, well, who's your target audience? He said, well, landscapers. He said, because they're going to buy 2 or 3 homes with a turf, whereas Mrs. Smith might get a bit more grass for the front yard. And I said, okay, well, what do you do at the moment? He said, I just dropped my pants. He said, we've got that many turf farms on the Gold Coast and Brisbane. He said, we're all fighting against the same customer. And he said, so if I'm selling for $5.50 a square metre, the guy down the road sells it for $5.20. I've got to go to $4.90, and it's a race to the bottom. And he said, I don't have that deeper pockets. I'm just treading water. I said, but you've got to take their eyes off the price. It's easy. He goes, well, how easy? He said, I've seen you do that thing on TV with the Greater Building Society. We can't afford to give away holidays. I said, no. What do you think landscapers want? They're footy show guys. They're scratching themselves. And what do you think that those guys... I've seen them, all landscapers scratch themselves, you know. And in fact, I'm thinking there's a few landscapers in here today. So therefore, what do you think blokes like to do on a Friday afternoon, or almost any afternoon after they've been out in the sun all day? What do they like to do? A beer, okay? And they would normally have a 4X because that's who they are. We're going to give them Crown Lager. There's only wankers in sports jackets that drink Crown Lager. We're going to turn them into a potential wanker. We're going to say, look, I know you only see people at the Versace with it. We're going to give you a carton of Crown Lager with every 500 square metres of grass that you buy. So we put together an email campaign and a brochure. That's a double-sided A brochure. And we said that for every 500 square metres of turf you buy from us, we're going to give you a carton of Crown Lager. A carton of Crown Lager cost, I don't know, he bought it from one of the chains, what's the Dan Murphy's or something like that? I don't know, $35, $40, whatever it was, okay? And so therefore, if you were a landscaper, instead of price discounting, you'd look at his leaflet when it arrived in the mail and the email and went, hang on, 500 square metres, that's just a normal front yard and backyard. And he rings me up 8 days after we've sent that out. We went to a list broker. Everybody familiar with what a list broker is? Yep. Anybody not that would like to know? Okay. List broker is someone who actually will rent you a list of whatever you want. If you want a list of chess players in the western suburbs in Sydney that have got one arm and they hop, obviously, then no, that's leg. I didn't get a cup of tea until just half an hour ago, so that's why. Okay. So they, if you any demographic you want, they've got a list. If you want all the people that ever bought anything from Danos Direct or the TV commercials, they will give them to you, okay? And you just pay around about $300 a thousand. So when people say to me, oh, we don't know where our audience is, give me 5 seconds, okay? We'll just get them for you. We'll get their name, their phone number, we'll get their address, sometimes their email, but people are a little protective, understandably, with that. But anyway, so that's a list broker. So we just went to a list broker and we rented a list of 500 landscapers. And those 500 landscapers were in Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and we sent this letter out to only 250 of them to see how it would go. He rings me up 8 days after and says, we're in deep shit. And I said, why? He said, we've got no more turf. He said, it's all gone. 6 miles just went whoosh, bang. And he said, we've now have to source our turf from other turf farms to keep up with the demand for the beer. The Happy Meal toy took over, okay? And he said, we only sent out 250 of the 500 letters. Like nutso stuff. And he's now, that was a few years ago, he's not in my program now, he doesn't need to be, he learned how to do this shit, he does it himself now. But he does this every year at that particular time of the year because he's found out that it's seasonal, there's a seasonality to turf. And this is him, I'll let you hear what he's got to say.
Well, I guess it certainly did instantly improve our sales for our turf at that point in time. The numbers were fantastic, really. We ended up ceasing the promotion because we really ran out of turf. We were sourcing turf from other farms. This was an exceptional result for us. And look, the numbers speak for themselves. We had a 40% increase immediately within that first month on those sales from the previous year for that same time frame.
Okay, so a 40% increase instantly out of stock, like within 1 week. And I can't guarantee that's going to happen to you, but the fact is that if you start to think price discounting evil and value adding good, there's half a chance that you can pull this sort of stuff out yourself, okay? Okay, this one is an interesting one. It's a Sydney crepe restaurant. This guy had just, he's a lovely guy, he just set this crepe restaurant up about 6 months earlier, and it's a Greek formula of crepes that come out like a cornetto or drumstick, you know, and then they put the cream and the strawberries and all the stuff that we shouldn't be eating in there. But he's got gourmet crepes as well, so there's mince and meat and all that, but of course the ones that you want to promote would be the strawberries coming out. You know, when you go to the Ekka or the Royal Easter Show, that's the thing you indulge in, you know. Anyway, he wasn't doing too flash, and I said to him, well, let me have a look at your crepe shop. And it's opposite Channel 10 studios in Sydney, where a whole lot of offices are. He should be actually making a fortune. And of course, look at his crepe shop. It looks like an accountancy practice. Okay. In fact, I've seen funeral parlours look more exciting than this. And I said to him, have you not been to Disneyland? Have you not been? And like, why is the ISIS guy outside? I mean, what's that all about? Like, you've got some special recipe that you won't let anyone else. I mean, what's that? So he said, oh, we're at a smart ass, we've joined your program, how are you going to fix this? I said, mate, easy, give me 24 hours, So I said to him, but before we fix this, because it's an easy fix, it's just adding theatre, by the way. This is easy, this one, because he's got traffic all around him. We just had to get the traffic in. It's not like he was a billboard in the desert. I said to him, show me the inside, because you've been so creative on the outside. I'm sure the inside's pretty good. He goes, oh, yeah. So there you go, okay? I said, where did you get the inspiration for that menu board? Central Station? What did you do? Go to a railway station and go, that's exactly what we're going to do with our ice cream gelato shop. That'll turn them on. And the girl there, you can see she's happy to work there. And there's just shit on the counter and you name it. I mean, it's just good to speak. Anybody been to the kitchens at Robina? Because if you have, you'll be by yourself. It's the worst marketed, shopping complex in Australia. They've done this fantastic job, New York warehouse, and they're all going broke. And there's one really good reason why they're going broke, because so funny. Sorry?
Food's crap.
The food's crap, yeah, but it's maybe not just even that, because you can even remember I said McDonald's is not exactly known as the best food, but you're a good marketer, you can fix that stuff. Guess what they did downstairs, the upstairs people who are all going broke, downstairs, instead of an escalator, go from the middle of the mall up to the middle of the next mall, the escalator to get upstairs runs into a brick wall. Have you ever noticed that? And wait for this, one of my clients is there and I'm trying to help them at the moment with this sort of stuff, and we're going to brain it. The business will be fixed within like 48 hours. We'll fix it for her, but she's bleeding. And she introduced me to one of the decision makers there yesterday, and I said to her, can I just ask a question? Why did the escalator on the ground stairs run into a brick wall? Literally, it comes up to a brick wall like that, and you've got to turn around and walk past to find the shops. Guess what the response was? Did it? Wow, yeah, I want you to be my centre manager. Did it? So, it's amazing, a classic case of people being store blind. And this guy here had been store blind because he just had that and was wondering why he was going broke. I said, well, we'll fix this in, I don't know, give me a week, but we can do this right now. So in front of him, I sketched up a new menu board. And that was like in 2 seconds. I just said to him, you'll see later on, we do website designs in 60 seconds. I'll show you how that's done. I happen to be a bit of a Rolf Harris, so therefore I can do that. Okay, funny, yeah. Not Rolf Harris these days. Okay. I do a lot of gardening. Anyway, so therefore, with the wall menu, we needed to give it theatre. I then give that to one of our Rolodex artists, and he turns that into that. And we have to have, at this point of time, the mandatory, can we do that, 1, 2, 3? Yeah, a few men got into that, which worry me too. And so therefore, that's what it looked like. And then we did the same thing on the outside of the, that's the before and after, so you can see what was that. That cost him, for that artwork, about $300, maybe $350. And it transformed his entire business. He's now opened a second one at Birkenhead Point in Sydney, and I think he's about to open up a few more. And all it was one, starts with I, one idea, okay? So you hang around morons, you're going to get moron ideas, okay? And so therefore, when I do my pitch to you and I show you, how you can get involved in all this sort of shit, and you can actually just get access to, libraries and libraries and libraries of ideas like this. Yes, I'm doing the sell, but nonetheless, my Gen Y kids are not listening to me at the moment because they've probably been spoilt by us baby boomers. They don't need to think this way. You hang around dickheads, you're going to be a dickhead. You hang around ideas people, you're going to have shitloads of ideas whenever you want them. And the way we set this program up is that you actually get 24/7 access to me, so you get that layout from me whenever you want it. Why do you think I can do that? We've got 120 something people on this program at the moment in my 2 clubs, okay? And we have a Facebook club that is 24/7. They can ask me any questions they want at any time, whether they need a layout for a brochure or they need to, we're opening up a seafood restaurant, JD. Do you think we should use warm colours like brown and red? Of course you would, you dickhead. Have you ever thought about seafood colours might be blue and green? Let's go with cool colours. And so, yes. The questions can sometimes be very challenging. JD, where would you get a pull-up banner produced? Probably a pull-up banner printer, I guess. You're paying $2,500 a month for this? Keep going. Then it would be, maybe go to Sinorama. Don't go to Officeworks because they're shit. Guess where he goes to? Yeah, Officeworks, and he's a pharmacist, and therefore, 3 days later, on Facebook, JD, he's on my program, $2,500 a month for private coaching. JD, got a problem. What is it? My pull-up banner blew away in the wind. What should I do? Run after it. So the thing is that If you get into my environment, just milk it like I milk Seinfeld. The reason I can do the 24/7 Facebook club, I get half a dozen questions a day. Now, they'll be from different people. And if any of you are in the advisory business, open up a 24/7 Facebook club. Not only will it keep your members sticky, because they don't know when they're going to need me. I mean, this guy might need me 3 or 4 times in the 1 week, but then won't talk to me for a month. He's moved on. But open up, if you're an accountant or you're a lawyer or whatever it is, open up a forum that they can contact you. And if you've got 100 people on board, you'll get 4 or 5 questions a day. Sometimes you won't get any. And that's why we can do this. That's why I can stand here in probably another hour's time and say, look, you want to join the club, you're going to get access to me. Because the thing is that you may only need my help once every 2 or 3 weeks, but I tell you what, it's a damn good resource to have when you need to do shit like this. So anyway, that's what we did on the inside, and then on the outside, we did that. Now, it still attracted the ISIS guy. We couldn't do much about that. He just still came along for the ride, but it was a different before and after, as you can see. So you can see with this stuff, it's not just the idea, it's the execution. So do you think that on my Rolodex list, I've got trusted people who design direct response websites? Yep. Are they graphic designers that understand direct response advertising? Yep. Are they copywriters that know direct? Yes. Okay, so all of these people know their business, and they're only on my Rolodex if they tick 3 boxes. They're good, they're fast, and they're cheap. And not cheap as in silly cheap, but they're cost effective. So, you know, this artwork here, if I was to get this artwork done in New York or London by an advertising agency, that would probably cost a couple of grand. That's done by one of my artists in Newcastle for $250. $250, right? Now, my brief to him for this book here is Big W. It's a $29 book, make it look Big W. My brief to him for this, and this is why I wanted to highlight to you, you've got to hang around chameleons, all right? I keep on saying to my kids, hang around the Beatles, okay? Because back in the USSR does not sound like obla-di, obla-da. They can swing, okay? They can be a chameleon. Don't hang around Sting. Every song is the same, you know? So you want to hang around people that can change colours, and all of my Rolodex people can, and that's what I get when I say I'm Big W. When I say I want Walt Disney to meet Harry Potter at the Palazzo Versace, that's what I get. So you want those sorts of people around you because you want them to be able to turn on a dime in terms of brand persona. And one of them that I've got is a website company here on the Gold Coast as part of our Rolodex, and John Moo, who's down the back there, is the owner of that business. He has about 25 staff in the Philippines that pump out these websites. I give him my layout. He then provides the layout to these people. It took us a little while for them to understand that when I said it's got to be, you know, very David Jones, it was not market business, make sure it's David Jones. They were asking, who is David John? But now they know. So the thing is that John has a website design company that just pumps this stuff out. And John, stand up. Oh, sorry, you are standing up. We have had actually a report from security. If you could just go downstairs, your rickshaw was parked in a no parking zone down there. So therefore, anyway, how much is it for a website these days? It used to be 3 bowls of rice, but what is it now? It's 4 bowls of rice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, by the way, we're good mates, and whenever we do this repertoire, which of course happens pretty much every time, you'll get the odd person go, oh my God, he's picking on that Asian man. If they only knew, every now and again, if I go too far, he just turns my website off, which is not good. You know. Yeah. Who's Mr. Funny Sarcasm now? It's the server, yes. That's right, it wasn't you. But John, in terms of pumping out the websites, and I know it all depends on how much info you get and so forth, but who in the room here has been through the traditional website nightmare whereby it's taken months and months and months and months, and the website designer, who is a creative, of course, just makes up shit whilst he's on the beach, right? Normally, John, 3 weeks, if you've got everything from start to finish, might be 4 weeks max.
Depends, but if it's just an information site, you know, like a 6-page site, yeah, probably 1 or 2 weeks to design it and a couple of weeks to put it together.
Yep, very well said to the microphone too, thank you. I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, okay. Right, so therefore, thank you, John, very much for that very minor participation. Yeah. That's what the counter looks like. I'll let the Facebook Live people just have a quick squiz of that before we move. So that's what the counter looks like inside. And yeah, he's taking his business to another level. Now, can I just give you a hint? If you're in the advisory business, and it seems like we have a bunch of people in here, do you find that you are offering the same sort of advice to different people over and over again. You have a template, don't you? It doesn't matter whether you're an accountant or a lawyer or whatever. And mine is the same. Obviously what I'm doing here is showcasing a smorgasbord of applications of that, but pretty much these 5 steps that I'm showing you here today, we're only up to step number 2 at the moment, but it's the same thing for each business. It doesn't really matter whether it's a building society or whether it's a butcher or baker. And what I want to sort of stress to you, that if you are in that game, get the IP out of your head and into an online resource. And I've done that. I've got a thing called Wow Central. I'm going to play a little 3-minute video for you. And what I've done is that I kept, over all the years that we were doing all this stuff, everything I had done that worked. Obviously the ones that didn't I threw out, but I had quite a few filing cabinets. And as our family grew, Gail got pretty peed off because I'd drag these half a dozen filing cabinets around with us every time we moved house. She's pretty happy that I kept all of that because it's now all been digitised, and I've created this huge, massive ideas library of winning marketing ideas, and we've called it Wow Central. And I'm going to be serious for a moment because this would be the largest marketing ideas library in the world. And basically it doesn't matter what business you're in, you're going to be in here because I've done just about everything. Maybe not Zoos, I haven't done Zoos, but everything else I have, right? And so if you're an accountant and you want accountancy marketing ideas, you just type in accountant into the search bar, up comes everything, page after page after page after page. Website designs, direct mail letters, we're talking, you know, basically telemarketing scripts, we're talking direct mail brochures, so on and so forth. I'll play it for you because what I want to do is actually encourage you, if you're in the servicing game, steal this idea and do it, because you just wait to see how much money you can make out of that. I've got a lawyer in New Zealand that is in the process of doing this because he's a specialist in a particular sort of law, has to do with big developments like your big shopping centres and so forth, and he found that he was saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I said to him, well, why don't you put your sorts of, you know, target audience onto a recurring monthly membership thing where they can get in here and steal whatever you've got as a template whenever they want. Anyone think that makes sense? It does, doesn't it? So you're making a recurring income out of your IP. Let me play it for you and you'll see how it could apply for your business. Welcome to Wow Central, what I believe is the largest marketing ideas client attraction concepts in the entire world. This is a massive library of ideas. When you log in, you simply go to the swipe menu, and on that swipe menu, I'll give you just a little intro of what Wow Central is all about. You've got 2 choices when you're searching for concepts in Wow Central. You can choose from marketing category or business type. Let's say, for example, you decide in the first instance you're going for business type. You might say, okay, I want to see what businesses are in here and, you know, what things I can swipe for my company. Let's say you're an accountant and you want to pinch ideas for the accountancy business. You'll see here that we've got all sorts of things that I've done for accountants over the years, videos, brochures, invitations to events, the direct mail letters. We're talking about Facebook advertising. You might, for example, say, okay, well, I'm not an accountant. Let's say that you're in the healthcare industry. You click on the healthcare icon and then that will take you through to a whole menu of things that I've done for the healthcare industry. You'll see there for a chiropractor, you'll see for dental surgeries, you'll see doctors. Let's just say, for example, a dental surgery brochure you wanted to swipe because you thought it looked pretty good. Well, you might be in the weight loss business and say, okay, well, there's a weight loss brochure that JD's done for someone. It looks like Wesley, I think it was the Wesley Company is the name of the business. That looks pretty good. I can tell you that you want to swipe this one because it worked extraordinarily well. You'll see here that there's a business types that go from A to Z, not many businesses that I haven't looked after. Now let's go back to the swipe menu because you've now decided that after business types, you might want to search by marketing category. That means Facebook ads or brochures or TV, radio, a marketing category. It could be, for example, showing you how to build repetitive trade, van signage, how to collect data, copywriting, how to create urgency in your advertising, how to create a marketing plan, how to create direct mail letters, how to do Facebook ads and creatives, how to get actual graphics and signage done, how to hold an event, which is a really important one, how to hold insured prize promotions, how to give away $1 million and only pay a few $1,000s for it. Now, the point is that, you know, when you click on brochures, you want to learn how to put together a brochure. Well, you'll come through to a video tutorial by me, and I'll go through how you should put together a brochure. Okay, so let's have a look at the sort of brochures that I put together for various industries. You'll see there's a $50,000 giveaway one there. There's a brochure that actually talks about the adventure at Clearwater Island Fishing Launch in this instance. It goes on and on and on. The whole idea is that you can get in and swipe ideas from lots of brochures here and maybe put one together for yourself. Okay, copywriting. Everyone wants to know how to write good copy because really at the end of the day, you can't create a story if you're not being able to sell anything. Okay, so what I'm here to do is to show you lots and lots of examples of effective copywriting. Keep in mind, I'm putting samples in here that have really broken records, things that have actually worked really, really well. You know what? The real big one is this: the WOW Marketing Makeover marketing plans for a whole host of different businesses. Now, we have scores and scores and scores of marketing plans that I put together for various businesses. Let's say, for example, you know, a tree lopping business. Okay, now I know you might not be a tree lopper, but let's just say you were. You could get in, swipe the tree lopping marketing plans I put together for this company, everything, including the layout of their website and also the complete 12 months marketing plan that I put together for them. Just swipe it and use it for your own tree lopping business. Can you imagine the value in that? But of course, it's not just tree loppers we're talking about. I put marketing plans together for all sorts of businesses. In the world that I live in, direct response world, it's really, really important that I show you how you can actually use direct response marketing in your business. Therefore, we've created a section that gives you dozens and dozens and dozens of samples of direct response winning campaigns right through all sorts of industries. Okay, so therefore, let's say, for example, we go down the direct response path and we might pick Facebook. Okay, what I've done here is that Facebook advertising is great, but of course, if you don't put the right ingredients in, it ain't going to work for you. Doesn't matter what you say. So what we've done here is that we're showing you a whole host of different examples of how I've put together direct response Facebook ads for a whole host of clients. Because at the end of the day, it's great to say that Facebook's a wonderful medium, but it's all about driving massive prospect traffic to our landing page, collecting the data, and then doing a second step, that is the sell. It's called a two-step sell. Okay, so there you have it. Wow Central, the world's largest marketing ideas bank. It's there for you to swipe as many ideas from it as you like. The great thing here for you is that you can swipe ideas from any industry you like, transfer them into your business, and hopefully make a lot of money from it. Who thinks that if they did that for their business and your advisor, you'd have a bucket load of people that would want to get in there and steal stuff? Yeah. You just would. And this thing is a pain in the ass to put together. We got about a year into it and I wanted to kill myself. It took about 2 years to get this thing. It is massive. I mean, we're talking Google massive. This is massive. I mean, John, who's left now, but he was responsible. Oh, yeah. John, would this be the biggest nightmare website you've ever put together?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff in there, so, you know, you cover quite a bit of stuff, so, yeah, it's a pretty big project.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Yeah. Okay, so Mimo yourself, do not throw to Jackie Chan when his mind is off somewhere else, because I was expecting him to go on the whole testimonial. I thought, oh, JD, you're the best. He goes, yeah, no, good website. By the way, we call him Jackie Chan, and everyone that's in our group now, no one ever calls you John anymore, do they? It's always Jackie Chan.
That's my new name.
That's your new name, yeah. Okay, so therefore, yeah, you ought to think about that if you're in the advisory business, and it's a really valuable resource. Can you see what I'm trying to teach you here, particularly if you're in the advisory business, but we're not going to miss out if you're in the widgets business either, is how to exploit your IP. If you've got a particular and a valuable IP, I think I have, then you want to make sure that you distribute that as much as possible. And if you're not doing that at the moment via this sort of thing, or via podcasts, or via webinars, or Facebook Lives like this thing, you're nuts. And we'll show you that as we get into the website stuff, just how you can be doing it. Who at the moment here is running webinars? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 110 or something, so therefore that's not good enough. Who here has been running Facebook Lives, doing this, what we're doing here? Again, the same people, so that's not surprising, of course. Okay. And what about podcasts? Anybody into podcasts? We got one. Okay, right here. And I know that you might argue the podcasts are more millennial, Gen Y-ish, and most of them are. That's understandable. But, you know, I've been fortunate enough to fall in with a group of people with a lot of business owners on their lists in America. And so therefore, you know, I'll have to sit up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to do them. But every time I do a podcast interview with someone over in America that might have a list of 11,000 or 20,000 or, you know, even greater, I'll pick up work from that. Because at the end of that podcast, of course, he says, if you'd like to hear more from this, you know all advertising guide, then go to theinstituteofwow.com or whatever you might do. Okay, but you'll learn more about that as we go through it. We've lost, I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we're back here. Right, problem solution, that's the third component. So we've gone through identifying your most profitable audience and then looking for more people who look like them. We've gone through create a wow factor, which is Happy Meal toy. This one is problem solution. And Barbara, if you don't mind me asking, and I don't want to embarrass you, but Barbara had been involved with me a few years ago, so it's really weird that she's come back. But anyway, Barbara owns a business which is a fabulous business. She's a very hard worker, and the business is called Mediballs. And what it is it helps ladies who are suffering from an incontinence issue. And so therefore she brings in from overseas this particular item that they use, and it has an incredible... Barbara, do you mind just explaining what it is? Because if you don't mind, I don't want to put you on the spot if you feel embarrassed about it. Would you mind telling everyone what it is?
Oh, I have to tell it. Sorry,
We'll just wait for the microphone. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a pelvic floor device that assists women to strengthen their pelvic floor muscles, which it cures urinary incontinence. It's just another form. Lots of physiotherapists do the same thing, but it just makes sure that it isolates the muscle. So it's a medical device essentially that is being simplified so that women can use it at home.
And it's incredible. When Barbara popped into my program for a year ago, and that's what most people do. They come in for a year. Some stay a bit longer if they want to. That's fine. They learn all of this sort of stuff, and then they can get on their bike and do it themselves. But the thing is that when Barbara came along, I think the brainstorms and the workshops that we had were identifying that really a lot of women have this problem who aren't in their seniors years, because what Barbara and I, understandably, we would have thought that we're dealing with mainly older ladies. And so Barbara had on her website at the time little Esme, who was, an older lady. She was in her 70s, and she just basically said, look, I used to suffer from having to go to the toilet and this, that and the other, and now I'm using this product. Within 7 or 10 days, it's just about fixed it. And like miraculous, like what we call shit to gold story, okay, problem solution. But guess what? Barbara dug in and did some research and found that there was a whole bunch of ladies in the, particularly 40s and 50s, but certainly sometimes even their 30s, who had had a few children, and their pelvic floor was not what it used to be. So when they coughed or they laughed, they wet their pants. And that was quite an epiphany, wasn't it, Barbara? Because then we could go looking on Facebook for women who were in a younger age group, and we had not thought that way, had we? No. Yeah, so...
And they're the ones that shop online.
And they're the ones that shop online, of course. Yeah, that's good. But Barbara, if you don't mind, if I can just grab the microphone to Barbara for 1 second, you really continue even now, so we haven't spoken for a couple of years, I know, but you continue to still go down the problem-solution path, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because that's what it's all about, problem solution. And Panadol do it so well, Jenny Craig does it so well, Barbara's been doing it very, very well. And I think we've got it coming up in a slide, I'm not sure, but Barbara, can you remember, because it's a sensitive issue, it's very hard to get women to do testimonials for this. Oh, hello, my name's, Jenny, I used to wet my pants 4 times a day, so it's difficult. So what we did is that we created a doodle animation video, and the results of that were...
It's amazing.
And I think we have you were kind enough to give me a video testimonial. Gail, have we got Barbara's? Gail? Oh, she's off with John Moore somewhere. Yeah, okay. What happens is that when you run these things, you try and get a crew that play solitaire throughout the day. That's nice. Can you? Okay, good. So Barbara gave us a lovely testimonial because this particular doodle animation video was the whiteboard drawing, which you can get done in the Philippines for hundreds of dollars, not thousands like you used to have to pay. And it really told the story really very well. I think I wrote the script and helped Barbara put it together. The reaction was incredible. It was, I think your Facebook clicks in 10 days, you've got on video for me, I remember it because you said it, went from 4,000 to 95,000 in 10 days, wasn't it?
I can't remember the details.
No, I've got you on video. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And the reason that was is because Barbara is a challenger brand. We did things differently. We didn't have the little old lady, who's in her 80s going, oh, look, I used to suffer from incontinence, but now this has fixed it. We would get those if we could. It's just difficult because it's a sensitive subject. So we got a cartoon to show the thing, and the cartoon was that fast-drawing cartoon, and it was a substantial difference in the attention-getting device that has versus, an 80-year-old lady, talking to the camera. Do we have it or not? Do we? Okay, we'll play it then. Preferably whilst we're all still young, and that would be good. No, not Barbara, but the cartoon I'm after. Oh, okay, well, play Barbara. Barbara, here's you. Here's Barbara 2 years ago.
There's huge value in coming to the masterclass because you pick up these contacts and ideas, and the biggest idea I think I received was using a Doodle commercial as opposed to a still advert, because my clicks on Facebook went from 4,000 to 95,000 in 2 weeks. And I've had the most amazing amount of likes on my Facebook page. I think it's reached 4,000, and that's really due to the Doodle commercial.
So what happened there is that the Doodle animation commercial, which looks like we haven't got, but it's the fast drawing one, it went through the story of before and after the problem solution. And Barbara at the time, I don't blame her. She's got a pretty decent sized business these days, so she probably doesn't remember even doing that for me. But the thing is that it was a substantial increase compared to using humans. Who here at the moment uses Doodle animation? Anybody do the whiteboard animation thing? Yeah, okay. Now, message to market match. Because there was a guy who was probably in his 70s that came along to one of these things about 18 months ago, and I showed the Doodle animation for some examples that we get them done in the Philippines. They're about 200 and something American dollars for 60 seconds, like so cheap. I used to be paying 6, 7, 8 grand for these things not so long ago, but now with the computers taking over. But there's Doodle videos and Doodle videos. Make sure you get the one that shows some, and I know I'm going to bring his name up, but Rolf Harris here, it shows some hand wizardry, and then the computer takes over. Don't do just the computer. There's no wizardry in that. We all know it's a computer. So the guys that we use in the Philippines are artists. They do a certain amount of it and then let the computer take over. They're the ones that will have traction, okay? Because the other, what they call whiteboard animation videos that you know is just the computer, they don't have the same traction. We know because we've tested them. And for $200 and something US for 60 seconds, just get the real deal, right? So anyway, the thing is that the whiteboard animation, well, a few of you have been doing it, it will only work if your script is good. So don't think it's just the wizardry that would make it work. If your script is problem, aggravate problem, and then give solution, it will work, okay? But it has to be problem, aggravate problem, and solution. And problem, aggravate, you got it? Okay, we'll play it. I was stalling because I thought they might find it. We won't play it all, we'll just play 30 seconds of it.
As a woman, our lives are busy and active. We work. Some of us have children. We lead eventful lives, share our joys, and our health is important. But there are health concerns that cause many of us unnecessary stress and anxiety. We are busy and active, so few of us have the time for the symptoms of weak pelvic floor muscles, such as the constant need to go to the bathroom. Yet when women look to treat the problem, the alternatives can appear far from ideal. Not to mention, activating the pelvic floor during floor exercises.
Got no battery, so we'll have to say goodbye to everyone online.
And while yoga is great, it doesn't always work for all of us. To support women's pelvic health, Pelvic Floor Assist has arrived to offer women a new, discreet and effective pelvic floor training treatment option, Mediball Secret. Offered as a single or as a double, Mediball Secret is a
so that'll do. Fine.
medical device.
Okay, so therefore you get the gist of it, and you can see that that has got some attention-seeking qualities to it. By the way, our battery's about to die on Facebook Live, guys, so if you actually cut out, we'll just change the battery and we'll fire up again in 5 minutes, so that's just the case. Right, so therefore, if I can get back to the presentation, if you don't mind. Who would be a little inspired now to perhaps think about whiteboard animation videos? This guy's story I was going to tell you about, he came, he was a guy probably in his 70s, and he asked a lot of questions on the day. He didn't join the program, that's fine, but he went home and he told his 2 daughters who owned a 7-star spa resort, 7-star spa business in Birkenhead Point in Sydney, that we've got to change everything on our website. We've got to go completely direct response. I've just been seeing this guy up on the Gold Coast and this is what we do. And so guess what? His daughters, who were probably in their mid to late 30s, come to a subsequent seminar about 3 seminars later. And I ask in the afternoon, you'll see this happen today, for volunteers to come up and have a hot seat. And if you get the opportunity, put your hand up, because you're going to get thousands of dollars worth of stuff for free, because I'm going to bring up your website. You have to say that you've got no feelings. Okay, so I'm going to bring up your website. I'm going to bag the crap out of it. You cry, but you go home with a better website, because I'll sketch it up and show you how it looks. We did that, and they put their hand up. And they come up and they said, oh, we've got to do a video, because Dad told us to do it. We put the Doodle video up. First of all, they went and got a cheap and nasty one for like $99 out of a software program, so it looked like Bilo. And it was just the wrong thing for their business. They had a 7-star spa. You do not do Doodle videos for Palazzo Versace. Remember I said you want to hang around the Beatles, not Sting? You hang around this environment and you say to me, I want to do a Doodle video, but you're Palazzo Versace. I'm going to go that. No, you won't. That's going to take your brand through the toilet. You don't do that. So they missed it. He got a little bit of information, but because he didn't hang around with the cool kids, he took that bit of information, went home and completely screwed up his daughter's business. because doodle videos will not suit the Palazzo Versace. Do you understand? Does everyone agree with that? Okay. They do suit the local garage guy. They do suit this. This was a $50 product, by the way, so of course it suits this, but you wouldn't do it for the Hilton Hotel. Okay, so this direct response thing, really there's 5 components to it, and it's worth you taking a photo of this one when I get to the end of it. Number 1, identify your prospect's problem. Number 2, exaggerate or aggravate the problem. Number 3, provide the solution. Number 4, provide proof. And number 5, a strong call to action. So let me tell you the Greater Building Society. Let's just think about that. Identify your prospect's problem. You've got a home loan at a high interest rate with a bank who doesn't give a shit. Number 2, exaggerate the problem. You haven't seen these today, but we did all of this. You know what? Your bank's got shareholders. They want dividends. They're not going to reduce any of those charges. You know, if you think that's going to go away, you know. And then what we do is provide the solution. Swapitos to the Greater, we're a building society. We don't have any of those fees and charges. We don't have shareholders, which means we don't have to make $4 gazillion. And guess what? We know your name, your number. We're going to give the kids a money box, and you're off to Fiji. We're going to give you a holiday. Now, if you just had a fight with your bank, do you reckon you'd think twice about hanging around with them? I think so. And then number 4, provide proof. Sorry, I'll go back to that. Provide proof. Oh, sorry, I screwed this up myself here. Okay. So provide proof, which of course is you saw it. Bill and Betty Bankstown, we swapped a home loan from the nasty bank to the Greater, and we went to Fiji. Life's beautiful. White doves, heavenly music. And then strong call to action, and that is call 13 1386 or go to greater.com. Let's go Jenny Craig. Okay, identify your prospect's problem. Are you overweight, not feeling healthy at the moment? Number 2, aggravate the problem. You know, summer's just around the corner. Do you want to look good in a swimsuit? Number 3, provide the solution. Get on the Jenny Craig program. You'll look like Elle Macpherson within 4 weeks. Number 4, provide proof, and that's before and after. The lady's overweight, not feeling good about herself. 4 weeks later, she looks like Elle Macpherson. And if she doesn't, just show a photo of Elle Macpherson. And number 5, a strong call to action, which is go to jennycraig.com. You implement that into your business tomorrow, and it'll be a totally different business. And I'm guaranteeing you that less than 5% of business owners around the world do this. And does anyone agree with me we don't have any air conditioning in here? Am I the only one? I know the ladies always say it's too cold, but it's pretty warm, isn't it? Yeah. Either that or I'm going through menopause. I'm not sure which one. Okay. Presenting problems and solutions. This one here, Panadol, I told you, they used to tell us that it was all about the paracetamol and the codeine. We're not much interested in that. Let me show you how they do it these days. This is how the Americans do the Nurofen ads.
When you're suffering with the aches, pains and congestion of cold and flu, it can be a real struggle. Introducing Nurofen Cold and Flu. Its dual action works with your body to target aches and pains and helps clear nasal congestion. So to get on with your day, trust the dual action of new Nurofen Cold and Flu, available in pharmacies.
Do you notice she became more attractive as soon as she took that? Lippy, blush, the kids, all shit kids were little assholes beforehand, are happy. So it's just a tablet that does so much for you. And it's called Shit to Gold, okay? Okay, this is another one. I'll just stop this for a second. I don't know what's wrong with my slides here, but anyway. This one's a classic, okay? This is a beauty, and have a look at, take notes on this one.
I knew something had to change, and I was the only one that could do it. I was the only one that could change my life. And then I found new weight loss. All the diets I'd ever been on never worked. This is working. My favorite part was how simple it was. I actually saw the person underneath everything. I love the way I started looking. I felt beautiful. A whole new me, thanks to you.
Okay, so the lesson in that is if you can possibly get your subject matter to cry, it's really, really handy. She wasn't, so we just punched her in the stomach. You just have to do what you have to do to get some of these testimonials out of people. Okay? Rightio. This one here is a lady who, on the Gold Coast, her name is Dr. Maura McGill, and she had a practice at Mermaid Beach, I think it is, here it is here. And she joined the program and decided not to use our Rolodex list. I mean, this Rolodex list goes on for quite some pages of copywriters and TV producers and artists, this, that and the other, because, like everyone in this room, she had a sister-in-law or daughter-in-law who was an artist, okay? So let's just piss money up against the wall and give it to a relative. So she gave it to her daughter-in-law, and they came out with this bag of shit. okay? So therefore, she is the Palazzo Versace of Australia when it comes to natural healing of menopause. She doesn't believe in giving women the, I forget the acronym now, is it HRT? Yeah, which has been proven to bring on early dementia and stuff like that. So therefore she's very heavily into the natural healing, and she's the one that Today Show goes to, or the Sunrise Show goes to, when they want to interview someone about natural healing of menopause, right? And so therefore she said, oh JD, look, I gave it to them, what do you think of it? I've gone through the problem solution. You're suffering from mood swings and hot flushes. Solution, last there's relief. We've identified the most profitable audience, a 50-year-old woman who's distressed. I've positioned myself as the expert, in Australia. How good am I? And I went, not very good at all. You've just taken your brand from the penthouse to the shithouse, right? So therefore, because she's number one, but does she look like number one on there? It looks like a school tuck shop brochure, right? And so therefore I said, well, we have to fix that. And she said, how quickly can you do it? And I said, probably in about a day. So therefore, that's what we did, okay? And that is very different, as you can see from that. Exactly the same words. Have a look at it. Exactly the same words. Who thinks that one would make her more money? So therefore, what we did is that we only put that out into rich people's homes. Because I said to her, have you worked out who your most profitable audience is? She goes, oh, no, it's just women. I said, well, yeah, fair enough, I understand that. It's a menopause thing. But who's the most profitable customer? And she said, oh, I don't know. I said, I can tell you. Because are you the number one in the country? She said, well, the Today Show comes to me. People travel from Cairns and Townsville and Sydney. They fly up to the Gold Coast. I said, well, you're number one. You're the Gordon Ramsay. But you don't look like Gordon Ramsay, okay? So therefore, what we'll do is promote you as number one and target you to the only people you want to ever talk to in the future. And she said, who would that be? I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do rich women get menopause? And she said, yeah. I said, good. You'll never talk to a poor woman with menopause ever again. If they come in here, they look like they've got a flannelette shirt anywhere near them, you electric fence them, or you do whatever it is, just go away, go. You do not let them anywhere near you, okay? You only put out your letterbox brochures in the Sovereign Islands and Sanctuary Cove and places like that, and make sure you market this to women with teeth, okay? So therefore, that's what we did, and I said to her, you will also now, how much do you charge? She said $75 per 17 minutes. So each consultation was averaged out, like doctors do these days, 17 minutes. I said, well, that's going to be fixed too, because not only will we fill your surgery, because you're sitting on 48% occupancy or thereabouts, and the aim was to get her up. And I said, look, it's really easy to get you up to 100% without price discounting. We're just going to fix your brand, okay? And she said, right, okay. And we did, by the way. Once that letterbox drop went out into rich suburbs, she was booked out for 3 months. And she only had one complaint. That was from a bush pig, so who cares, okay? So, did I tell you at the beginning of the day this would not be politically correct? I think I did, okay? It's funny, I always preface the whole day with that these days, because on the odd occasion, if you didn't, someone going to pick on small people, tall people, Asians, going to pick on everyone. There will be someone in the room going down the back, and then 5 minutes later, let's just cut to the chase. So the thing is that it's called entertraining instead of just training. So therefore the thing is that we just said, okay, we're going to go to wealthy women and we will increase your prices. She said, oh, by what? I said, double. We're going to double your prices. Well, she nearly had a heart attack. Because she was charging $75 per 17-minute consultation. We jacked it up to $150, targeted the right people who had money. Because let me ask you this, she got rid of your menopause within about 4 weeks, which meant 4 sessions, okay? Can I ask any of the women in the room here, if you had menopause and you could say goodbye to it in 4 weeks, would money come into the decision-making process? It wouldn't. If Gordon Ramsay was going to cook dinner for you tonight, would the price come in? No, okay? People will pay more to experts and money will go out the window because they got the expert. So therefore, the inside pages, we turned this into a 4-page brochure. So the inside pages, you'll see that how I've put that together. I've got copywriters that do this these days, but I think I did this one. So you'll see on the left-hand side, they're not particularly happy. They're going through stress. And over here, they're much happier and much prettier. And you'll see here on the left-hand side, do you struggle with any of these following problems? So hot flushes, sweats, mood swings, tears, frustration, low libido, suffering sex life, relationship stresses, foggy brain, forgetfulness. I was writing the copy, I realised I had menopause. And so we did a door deal. I gave her the free membership and I'm much better now. So then on the right-hand side, when we say enjoy relief if you're giving servicing, because when you hear my pitch in a little while before lunch, I'll show you how fast we can change your business. I'll show you how fast it can be done. Why do I show you how fast things can be done and why am I doing that at the moment in my little wizardry speech? Why am I doing? Because we don't get out of our car for coffee anymore. That's why Zarafas and McDonald's make a bit of money. We don't buy land and build a house anymore. We just want the home and land. I haven't got time for it, okay? How many of you people, if you've got a laptop in front of you and it takes more than 30 seconds to download, want to throw the laptop out the window? We are running so fast, it's not funny. So if I'm going to offer you relief, you want fast relief, okay? So quick and fast are very big words you should consider using. So enjoy quick relief. That was the back of it, and then you'll see before and after. Which of those do you think she could charge more money for? You know the answer. She doubled her prices, and she was booked out 100% for 3 months. Really, really simple. And that's just by going offline. When we took her online, I said to her, have you thought about online? Oh, yeah. Why don't we do this? Why don't we actually sell what you're doing online? Well, how do you do that? We'll video a lady coming in and going through the 5 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it is. Will be a fly on the wall like the Kardashians, okay? With the lady's permission. We're not going to do this without her permission. And we'll sell that as a $297 fix your menopause video program, okay? And anyway, that's what happened. And I'll let you hear what she... Oh, by the way, this was her website, and you'll see it was rather dated. So therefore we fixed that and made sure that she put on the Donald Trump Power Red colours. So you'll see a big difference there from that, okay? So that had a bookcase behind her, which is not really particularly endearing when it's got glare from the glass. These are all little small things, but it's important. You'll see there that she's got a much more, attractive background. And then what we did is that we got her to say something nice about me, which is what you should do if you're changing people's lives. I didn't tell you, but unfortunately Maura is deaf and dumb. And that's what makes this even more special. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? With my crew this morning, I said, so this potential problem analysis thing is a disease. You've checked all this. It's going to, no way. Yeah, okay, good. Because what we decided to do when we held this, I thought I'd get the very best sound equipment and sound people that I could. They weren't available, so we rang these people. And I'm only joking. This stuff happens. Okay, so what she said there, though, was it was a significant difference to her business, and JD's a genius, okay? Just thought I'd bring that up. I'm not big on cars, okay? I'm not big on, spending a lot of money on cars because, at the end of the day, goodness, I haven't seen too many people getting a lot of money out of, sign writing their car. However, if you're going to do it, and you get Signmaster or Signwave or Signaram, whatever they are to do it, put the skin on your car, don't make it a business card. This guy again joins the program, and again, I don't know why, but he didn't go through the Rolodex, and so therefore he decided to be a dickhead and got his son-in-law, who does signs on cars, to put this together. So you've got a Tile Rescue, by the way. He sells franchises to people who pay him 50 grand to become a cleaner, and then what they do is they go out and sell to the likes of us, tile cleaning. And so therefore he said, righto, well, what do you think of it, JD? I said, you've got to be joking. Have you got another photo of the car? He goes, yeah, I'll show you the back. Oh my God, just bad. I'll show you what we did in 48 hours, because again, I'm not suggesting you spend a lot of time on your car, but if you are, don't make it a business card. On Jim's Plumbing Service, www.Jim's Plumbing, make it something that's going to sell. So we changed that into that. And you'll see there and that's done in 48 hours. We're not talking like weeks and months and all this bullshit you get from an advertiser. Their tiles cleaned, they want to get them cleaned fast. And what motivates them is they've got a dinner party or some friends or relatives who are coming around, and they will feel embarrassed if their bathroom tiles or kitchen tiles are dirty. So therefore we say, are you embarrassed by grubby tiles? And then to see the before and after, let me see, I have to point it that way. Which one of those, if you pulled up at a set of traffic lights, do you think you might take notice of? I mean, we're talking shit to gold on steroids. I mean, this stuff is like transformational. This is like your backyard bloody blitz shows, all right? But it's really, really fast, and it's really done with a lot of pizzazz if you know what you're doing. This one here was interesting. He's from the Sunshine Coast, and this is what we've eventually done for him, but God love him, he's a locksmith, okay? So therefore, that's what it looks like now. It didn't look like that before. This was what his brochures looked like. Now, I haven't got his brochure, so I've had to mock up what it used to look like, so please don't think it was even that bad, but it was pretty bad. And he used to put this letterbox brochure out. And he'd forgot about the problem solution thing. Well, he'd never heard of it, okay? He's a lovely young guy, he's about 30-something, and he came to one of these things, he joins up, and so, we had our first get-together, and I said to him, okay, show me your brochures. Now, it looks something like that. I haven't got it. I don't know why I didn't keep a copy. And that's what it was, a giant lock, and He was the Sunshine Coast locksmith, and that was it. Locks for your home. And when he put that in the letterbox, there was silence. Of course there would be. Because he was selling features, not starts with B. He was selling features, not benefits, okay? So therefore, I said to him, well, we'll have to fix that because you're suffering from severe dickheaditis, which can turn into moronitis. And there's nothing worse than being a moron. And so therefore, what we did is I said, I think we can make this work. What we'll do is that we'll do door hangers. We won't do letterbox brochures, we'll do door hangers. And so therefore, this is what we sketched up. That was put on the front door, and again, I don't have my real leaflet with me, so I've mocked this up. So we called in, you went home, but don't worry, we'll come back tonight, okay? And of course, that melted his switchboard. Because what we're doing there is that we're scaring the crap out of them, of course. I was going to have that guy carrying 2 little children out, but I thought that would be pushing it just a little bit too far. Now, real estate. We've got some real estate people in here. You guys are from a really interesting industry of imposters, okay? Because I've spoken at Glenn Twiddle's events and all these things with real estate agencies, and they hate me within about 2 seconds, and you probably already hate me, but now I'm going to back out your industry, it'll be more. Because what happens in the real estate game is that you sell your house to a real estate agent because they are good at what? It starts with M. Marketing. Because if you said to a real estate agent, what are you good at? And they'll go, oh, we market homes. Okay, good. Well, if I was going to get my chest opened by a doctor today and give me heart surgery, I think I'd just check, have you done any medical stuff, like done this before? Would you have a doctor's certificate maybe? And I hopefully would. If I was going to get my car done, I think the guy way down the back of the garage, the mechanic, has probably got a little form there that says, I'm a certified mechanic. If you ask any real estate agent, what do? They'll say to you, we market homes for a living. You go, well, you would have a marketing qualification, wouldn't you? And you hear basically crickets in the background. Now, you guys might be different, okay? They don't have a clue about marketing, most of them. Not a clue. This is an idea that has kept one of our real estate agent clients sleepless for a week. And it's really, really simple, because what a real estate agent has to do before they sell ghost houses, because that's what they sell, it's really weird. Remember I was saying to you earlier that if you are selling to a particular market, you want to show them in the ads. Like Jerry Seinfeld said to me, mate, I'm not going to be in the ads with those people, because he saw the people that were building society customers and they're not real flash, right? I said, mate, well, he said, mate, I got a brand bigger than, this was over a coffee, he said, my brand, I'm sorry to show off, but it's bigger than the Greater Building Society. It's a worldwide brand, and you got me in there with bush pigs. That's not going to happen, right? And I said, you've got to understand, that's their audience. The Greater has no one with teeth, okay? The Newcastle Knights support us, right? And so he said, well, we've got to fix that. We've got to fix it, right? And I said, well, we'll do a deal. So the deal that we did is that we would get better looking working class people. That's a challenge. And we scoured Bankstown and Parramatta. We found these people. Well, they weren't. They were really rich people. We dressed up as working class people. So we put them in the ads, and that was a deal. You've got to show your target audience in your ad. So if I'm selling a $1 million plus home, I'm going to be selling it more than likely to a baby boomer or someone that's going to be at least over 40, aren't I? So therefore, why would I not show my age group having a wine in the kitchen, toasting marshmallows around the fire, or mowing the lawn, or playing tennis on the tennis court? Real estate agents don't do that. In the main, you guys might be exceptions, and good luck to you for that. They sell ghost houses. There's no one in the kitchen, no one in the bathroom, there's no one in the toilet, there's no, maybe you wouldn't show that one, but there's no one in the tennis court. It's just a ghost house. And you can see that on Domain, you can see it on realestate.com, see it in the newspaper, have a look in the windows. There's nobody's ever, or you buy it, no one else ever has, you know. So the thing is that if I was selling to a Gen Y audience, an apartment in Pyrmont in Sydney, I would be showing 27-year-olds smoking dope in the kitchen. That's what you do. It's called message to market match. You've got to show your target audience. Now the thing is that when we do lookalike audiences for this thing, we look for white collar businesses. I try and get that ad in front of white collar businesses, not because I can't help a plumber or electrician, but he's going to be more sceptical of me than someone that's used to feeding their brain. Okay? So a plumber and electrician is going to go, oh yeah, Mr. Know-it-all, he's got a sports jacket, he's a wanker. Whereas if you're an accountant down there and a lawyer, you're going, well, we look like him. I want to buy his stuff. I don't have to convince them so hard to buy into my program. I can make a massive difference to a plumber and electrician's business, and I have, but convincing him is more harder because he's going to be sceptical, okay? So real estate agents from that point of view really freak me out because they don't sell people in their things. And the other thing, when I say to them, how do you get listings? and you guys in the game will relate to this. They go, we send out 10,000 brochures to our farm area. That's what they call the houses around the area. And what happens is that we ask them, would they like a free price check? Would they like to find an appraisal? Who's had that in the letterbox? And very, very creatively done, where it's got a picture of them, because it's important. And then it will say, would you like a free appraisal of your home? And just as you start to get hard nipples, because this looks like it could be exciting, you flip the leaflet over. What's there? Nothing. They printed the leaflet on one side, because it would have cost it would have gone from 5 cents to 5.5 cents if they printed both sides. So that means a real estate agent, if they were to do a TV ad for 30 seconds, they'd run 15 seconds with a blank screen, because why use the other side? So these people come on board and they go, look, how do you get appraisals? Well, we put out this one-sided leaflet and we say, would you like appraisals, because we're buyers in your out when we get, out of the 10,000, we'll get 20 people to ring up, and they'll go, oh, yeah, look, we'd be interested in finding out what we're sitting on. And out of those 20, we would turn over the next month or 2 or 3 about 10%, maybe 15% into listings. So if they get 20 appraisals, they might turn 2 or 3 over the next 6 months into listings. That's it. Guys, you know how it's working, isn't it? You're in the real estate. So I just say to them, why don't you just do the avalanche? So you're telling me that for every 10 appraisals you get maybe 1, maybe 2 listings. So that means you got shit to sell then. They go, yeah. I said, well, why wouldn't you just do 10,000 appraisals? Like that. So this cheque goes under our door tonight and it's got $1.4 million written on it. We valued your house. You didn't ask for it. We just thought we'd help you out. And this guy's jaw just drops and he hasn't slept since. Why would you do it the other way when you can do push marketing like this and just do it? And he said, well, how do we do that? Fuck if I know, I just made that up. So how much are you paying me? How you would do it is that you would just employ 3 or 4 monkeys, 23-year-old, put them onto RP Data, which is the software program that basically estimates the value of your house based on what the other value is in the area. So no one ever goes to visit the house when they do these appraisals. And you put down these numbers and they write them out. Handwritten, it's got to be handwritten. But you handwrite 10,000 of these damn things and put them under the doors, or door hangers, whatever you want to do. Can you imagine when that couple gets home tonight, they pick that up? And we do one for that age group where we say on here, the dollar figure on the other side is a general estimate of the value of your home. If this appraisal figure was a nice surprise, you might like to take advantage of our current price boom, blah, 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 blah. And we're going for baby boomers there that have got empty nesters. So out of our 6 kids, 4 of them are gone now, so therefore you'd be chasing my age group. And then if you went into a younger area, you'd have a younger family. The dollar figure on the other side of this is a general estimate of the value of your home. This appraisal figure is a nice surprise. You might like to take advantage of the current price boom. And that all talks about upgrading. Do you reckon that makes sense to give out 10,000 appraisals if you're going to get 1 in 10 that turn into a list? This guy said to me, I could have 1,000 homes to sell like next week. Now, it won't happen. He's not going to get the same conversion rate on an avalanche mass drop like that than he will when these people have picked up the phone, the 20. He won't get the same 1 in 10 or whatever it is, but he'll get a shitload more houses outside on his window, that's for sure. And that's the mode of thinking. This thing is just, it's not mild. If you're interested in mild, don't come anywhere near us, okay? Because we're not into that, okay? What you'll find here, and I'm not saying everything's going to work, of course I can't say that, but this is avalanche thinking. This is melting your switchboard. This is, you saw the bingo games that I came from. The ad that you responded to, 812,000 phone calls in a week. That's the shit that we do. So if you're mild, and there are people who are that, I mean, I've got a guy that's, where guy comes out and we're on 3 acres and, I'm the worst handyman in the world. I'm the opposite from MacGyver, okay? I don't know what a hammer looks like. And, the dangerous thing in my line of work is paper cuts. So that's how good I am as MacGyver. And this guy comes out, jumps on the ride-on, does his mower and does the bzzz, all that sort of stuff. I think we have a discount. I think he's having an affair with Gail, I'm not sure. But and so therefore, the thing is that I said to him, have you thought about scaling? And I won't bore you with the details, but showed him how he could do more of this, because he's a one-man band, he's working his ass off, he's about my age, so he's not young. I said, have you thought about scaling this? And how you would scale anything that's a lawn mowing business is just offer free window cleaning and all that sort of stuff when he comes. He'll be the only landscaper on the Gold Coast that, gets a squidgy thing out and does that, and you can scale it. And he said to me, I'm just happy like I am. And I don't even bother talking to him now because I don't like to talk to people who are happy like they are. I don't even like to talk to people who are happy. So the thing is that if you are mild and you don't want wild, well, just hang around with your accountant, Okay, so that's what it looks like, and they will handwrite the amount of money on there, and they'll put that out to, if they're smart, as many homes in their farm area as possible, and they'll have appraisals coming out their wazoo. Okay, really, really simple. There is no such bank as that, by the way, we make that up. This is a real estate agent in South Australia, and I said to most of the real estate agents when they come on board, have you ever sold a house in 30 days? And every now and again, some will say no, but most of the time, yes, they have. They've snagged a house and they just put it in the window or they put it in Domain and they snagged it. I said, well, there's your headline. Because do you think that I can get 812,000 phone calls every time I do a promote? Of course not. But which one am I going to promote on Facebook? Right? Do you think I'm going to work with Seinfeld or someone like that every week? No, but I'm going to milk the shit out of it when I have. So you look for that Elvis found headline that's going to get your attention. And that's bad if you don't have substance behind it. I happen to have substance behind mine. So if I use a bit of stunt mentality to get traction, I'm going to prove to them within 10 minutes that I'm not stupid, okay? So if you fall into that category, what you want to do is, yes, use a means of wow factors to get their attention. In this instance, this is what he did. I said to him, just simply put on everything you do. Do you want to sell homes in 30 days? I think we've got a testimonial from me here. Just by having that car parked outside his real estate agent, he had people coming in saying, I want to talk to the agent that sells homes in 30 days. Now, he had sold 1 or 2 homes in 30 days. One of them was in 11 days. So he's not lying. He's not lying. You know, the one-hit wonders. You know, like look at some of these one-hit, no, the Beatles don't fall into that category, but how many times the one-hit wonder is making a lot of money, but he's only had one hit? Okay, so you're not guaranteeing that every song was going to be a hit. You could with the Beatles, but you can't with a lot of these other people. They still make a lot of money out of it. So that's the back of his car. And this is him. He did this for me only yesterday, I think. He was kind enough to do it. I was talking to him on the phone. He said, oh, what are you doing? And I said, oh, you know, another song and dance tomorrow. He said, I've never done your testimonial. I said, oh, well, now's the time. So this was actually, he sent this to me yesterday. He now works as the marketing manager for a retail chain.
From a real estate agent to the business development and marketing manager of a chain of furniture and retail stores, just a few years. Yeah, I wouldn't have pictured it. And I have to give a lot of credit to the coaching that I've received from John Dwyer. Being part of his WOW Academy program, pretty expensive to be a part of the information that you get. Just a massive amount of information that has taken me from someone who just first had a look at marketing and thought it was interesting to now completely revolutionise the way that I think. Just some real basic concepts that aren't used in the marketplace, or when they are used by businesses, just skyrocket their success. You know, taking the eye off the price. You know, instead of discounting, is that you're able to bring customers in. As a real estate agent, all of a sudden I wasn't price discounting, my commission wasn't discounted. Just was a real key concept that I learned from John Dwyer. Sampling, you know, don't spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, or in some cases millions of dollars to get people to fall in love with your brand, to hopefully they'll come along and buy something off you. The sampling's made a significant difference, especially in my position here now with furniture and retail. Closed Facebook forum, you know, just a great resource. Just if you've got a question or you've got some marketing material, you just upload it and have JD critique it. And as he sometimes says it, he waves his hand over it and turns a shit to gold, which is very true. So yeah, if you've ever got any doubts about being involved with JD's WOW Academy, just do it, or just attend one of his seminars. Just one idea will completely cover your investment.
Now, I didn't pay him anything for that, but he's coming up to our 2-day event. We have 3 2-day events throughout the year, one in May, one in August and one in November. So I did type back to him and said, I reckon that probably deserves a beer. So it was a nice thing for him to do. Okay, so let me show you what is happening in this instance here. Let me see, I'm trying to think. Oh, well, this is just an example of what happens in Facebook when people are asking all these questions. Give me a second. Here's one, for example, I just want to give you, and this is for you in the servicing game, build a Facebook page. Just open the damn thing up. So here what they did is I think they sent through from memory that and said, could I critique it? And you'll see here I'm saying, Simon, perhaps this sample Facebook ad layout, which I've done there and uploaded for them, so that's a quick sketch I put together. You notice that I'm suggesting a headline which highlights the possibility of no financial outlay. This is a property investor coach, so he's trying to get you to use his services to buy into property. And so I've said, just Bill and Betty Bankstown. So what I had here, you can't see it, but I've got a couple of people there saying, we were able to buy this house for no outlay. Because you know, like if you're smart with property investment, I don't think I have been, to be honest with you, but if you're smart, you will actually buy homes that are going to be easy to lease and you're going to borrow money that you can actually get paid off by the tenant. I mean, anyone that's in that game knows that. I've been silly, I haven't done that well enough. But anyway, so therefore that's one example. You'll see here another one, the real estate agents again. Oh no, this is a holiday resort. So she's asking us, what do we think of the new website? She's got there JD. We have a draft of our homepage drawn up. Can we have your thoughts on it before I go back to the web developer, who happened to be Jackie Chan? I'll have a look at that and make some thoughts. It's pretty good. It's coming close to, she's using all the stuff that I've got in there, and you'll see how we do that in a minute. So I get back to her and I say to her, let me see, Em, well done. This was only the other day, I think. I think it looks great, significantly more storytelling than your other one. Only one thing, perhaps it might be worth testing a mini pic of people inside the luxury accommodation. See, if we go back to that, we've just got the exterior at the moment of those luxury accommodation. What I want to see is someone inside, and that would be a little square here somewhere, showing them have a cup of tea or beer inside, so you get to see how nice it is inside, not just the outside. And so then I go on to say to her, you could move the overall photo to the right so that you lose just one side of the villa. So we'll see this, okay? So move that to the right. We don't care about that. So move that to the right. That means you've got that moving there, and you'll have room to put in a little insert, like a little happy snap of the inside of the house. I'm a layout artist, so that obviously helps. And then I just say to her, yeah, blah, 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 that's it, okay? And then she comes back, and what happens with Facebook sometimes, if I'm answering this at midnight, and I'll answer it, just my luck, they're up. They go, oh, good, JD's up. I'll ask you another 10 questions. Yeah, why did I not answer that tomorrow morning? Why did I do that? And Gail's normally upstairs just begging for me to come to bed, of course. And so I only said to Gail this morning, I reckon sex would be so much more enjoyable if only I had a partner. So this one, I think I just heard from one of the guys here, geez, mate, you're not going to get it for like 10 years now. Okay, so this one here, this is the same lady that's running this holiday resort, which is an upmarket 5-star caravan park. I don't know you have that, but apparently you do. So therefore, she says, what was it? Oh, she was asking, how do we get kids and family involved but not spend a fortune? I said, it's easy, just get Batman and Superman there. Movie will do it, why don't you do it, okay? So you'll see here, M by the cheapest, most appealing wows I've seen for children. I've done this for a lot of big raceways like the Bathurst 1000 and stuff. Getting children is borrowing the equity of huge superhero cartoon characters in the form of daily shows. You can certainly make a splash if you turned a superhero festival for the school holidays with 2 or 3 stage shows daily. You might have one character host a brekkie, but check out how Disney does it with their park. Now, there's no way you can use a Disney character, but you can rent these characters from any one of these shows now. These people have paid the copyright licensing fees, so there's the real Batman suit and the real whole thing. They're paid it, you don't have to pay it. And they come along and do 3 or 4 shows for you. Fantastic to fill shopping centres and fantastic to fill anything where you're wanting a family involvement. And you get it for a beestick investment. It's rubbish money, okay? I'll just flick through it. But all these people here, these are the sorts of questions they ask. That one there's just asked me to have a look at it. These guys here, he's a real estate agent. We have quite a few of them aboard. This lady here, she sells this sort of boats, and she had this awful layouts, so therefore I got our art studio involved and fix all that, and so on and so forth. Okay, we'll zip through that. I think you've seen enough. Okay, go through that. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. I'm trying to... Okay, this one here is really, really important. This is the online world. And as I said to you before, I'm saying in a nice way there'd be different online, but what I want to say to you is that you've got to fix your website. The very first thing you need to do when you leave here today, if we get involved with us, you can fix your website in a matter of weeks. If you do it yourself, it might take a bit longer, but nonetheless, fix your website, okay? And what I want to show you here is the fallacy of social media experts. And I know that if there's any Gen Ys in the room who are social media experts, they hate me by now, but there's a whole bunch of social media experts out there telling you to get your name out there when in fact you've only got enough money to get their name in here. So you don't have the money to get your name out there at the moment, I suspect. So this is a quick layout that I did some time back, and this is for a play care centre or child minding centre that, you know, if you're both working, you drop the child off there in the morning and hope that he's there in the afternoon. And this is in Sydney. It's called Cheeky Monkey's Playhouse. So I'll sketch this up in about 5 minutes and give it to the owner. You don't need a headline that rhymes. You need a headline that's a problem. So do you need before and after school care for your child? Well, guess what? You're in the right place. Just tell it like it is. It doesn't have to be, like when I got to the Greater Building Society, the advertising agency had charged them $75,000 for their logo. We don't have a butcher paper here, do we? No. No butcher paper? Yeah, okay. They charged $75,000 for a triangle. That was their logo, a triangle. I said to them, I reckon a square would have been cheaper. I could have given you a square for 50 grand. You know? And then guess what their tagline was? Sooner or later, it's the greater, because it rhymed. I said, that's wrong, because that means, oh, sooner or later, I guess it's the greater. That's wrong, that's even bad. That'd be like a skincare makeover company having the lady look worse when she puts the cream on. I mean, that's sooner or later it's the greatest. Weird people. And so therefore you give the solution, come to my way, welcome video, hi, this is what we do, show kids playing. Obviously you've got to get permission for that these days. Handy free report, what do parents want to know? We want to know the 5 top tips on keeping kids occupied after school. When they download that, you've got their details. Proof of testimonials of parents saying this was fantastic. I've dropped little Johnny off there in the morning and for the first time he was there in the afternoon. And then we have a call to action. Now what I want to do is show you that in real life, because that's a pretty quick sketch and I'm not real proud of that sketch, but I'll show you how things work. This happens to be a lady who came on board. She owns an orange orchard on the border of New South Wales and Victoria. And she's a nice lady, but she'd been caught in a time warp. And so therefore I said to her, that's the front page of your website. She goes, yep. And I said, what are you? She said, I'm an orange orchard, and we provide the freshest of oranges. They don't have concentrates, not artificially coloured, and they're almost organic but not organic. And I went, right, can you imagine anyone coming onto your website going, oh my God, it's orange juice in a plastic bottle. We've never seen that before. I don't think so. I don't think anyone's going to be doing handstands. I mean, your target audience is not on there. Mum, a healthy mum with healthy kids. How about, I ask you, do you think the fact that you've got an orchard beats berry juice that just sits in Woolworths? Do you think you've got a nice, country practice TV show story there? You've got picked the orange from the farm, it goes on the tractor and blah, blah, blah. She goes, yeah, I guess so. You're missing out on all the theatre. So anyway, we sketched this up for her. And when I sketch it up, you'll just have to accept every sketch I do for a homepage, if you get involved with me, has to have a girl in a tight top on the top. So that's just the way it is. I don't. Anyway, so that's a must-have. So here we're saying headline, 100% fresh orange juice straight from our farm. So we do the whole farm thing big time. Then we say fresh from the farm, no added sugar, no concentrates, so it's almost organic. We then say the big 3 reasons you should come to us is because you're going to live longer and da-da-da. Notice here the plastic bottle gets about a bee stick exposure. We're not interested in the plastic bottle. I want to know whether this orange juice is going to change my life. Heavenly music, white doves. I can see again, both my arms are working. So therefore, that's the story. And so therefore, when I give that to our artist, within 48 hours, that turns into this. The girl is still up the top, you'll notice. And so therefore, when we do that, then because we know heritage is a big thing in terms of knowing that it's fresh from the farm, and they've been doing this for quite some time, the father's on the tractor, the kids are there, again, that takes very, very low priority. So if you have a look at the transformation, which one do you think would sell more orange juice? Really, really simple. And all of that is done in the space of, by the time, the artwork's done in 48 hours, but by the time Jackie Chan gets feedback and this, that and the other, and we get a video done, we got a video done for the top panel there. Haven't got time to do it today, but it's pretty easy to get drone videographers these days to come in and take the video at 5 a.m. in the morning with the mist coming over the fountain, and they're pulling oranges off the trees, and they go into the crates, and then they go into the conveyor belt. A much better story than the gigantic plastic bottle that she had there before. So who would vote for the one on the right that wins? Yes, okay. Righto, so this one is interesting. Lightning Ridge Opal Mine surprisingly in Lightning Ridge. And this was nutso. This is an interesting, well, you know this one, John, Jackie Chan, you know this one. This is their signage leading to this incredible Disneyland style attraction. And apparently you're only allowed in if you've got half a body. So we don't let full people in. And of course, he's got some gorgeous signs around him there too. A lot of professional operators in Lightning Ridge, you know. I think we'd call them affectionately the Peter Jackson 50s audience. And so I said to him, oh mate, that's just dreadful, you should slap yourself. And I said, well, let me have a look at your website. Would that be just as bad? He goes, yep. And I said, so what do you call your walk? A lot of open mines in Lightning Ridge, I don't know whether you know, but, and I said, what do you call your business, your walk-in mine business? He goes, walk-in mine. Of course you would. That's a silly question. And I can see on the front of that would be, yeah. So who's your audience? And of course, no surprise, grey nomads with their caravans, people in God's waiting room. That's the only people that came through his attraction. And they would put the little hat on, so if they fell, pretty good chance of that, they would not die. Although I said to him, when I looked at his attraction, it was so, you go into this mine with a little hat on, the torch and this, that, and then you go, well, no, you don't actually walk, you just do this, like through it. And he's got all the audio animatronic attractions that Disney threw out, he's got. So it's the guy with the pick. Not that, yeah, so he's got all that happening. And he didn't have a lot of kids go through for good reason. They just laugh at this stuff. So I said, his name's Greg. I said, oh mate, look, we've got to give this a real makeover, and we've got a Disney-fy. We've got to do exactly what we did to the crepe shop in Sydney and all that. And he said, well, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to have to Indiana Jones this up. We've got to give it some adventure. So anyway, we filmed me actually putting this together. I'll play it.
For the Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure, what I normally do is sketch out the layout in pencil, and then I put the back pen to it, as you can see here. Now we've ripped a piece out of the treasure map and put the big heading, Lightning Ridge's leading attraction, the Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure. Then of course there's the introductory video. Second panel is all about the chance to win $50,000, because not only will you enjoy yourself going through this adventure, you could walk away with $50,000. Then the next panel is all about what the adventure is all about. So therefore we go through 1, 2, 3, 4 panels and explain to them exactly what they're going to experience when they come into this adventure, so it's not a secret. Then we have adventurers giving us their video testimonials, telling you just how great it is. And the final panel would probably be just highlighting further why it's an attraction for all ages and for the whole family. So once again, you can see it's got all the components of the direct response mantra that I suggest. It's got the big headline, it's got the welcome video, it's got the big prize to give away, and it's got video testimonials and explains to everyone what they're going to experience in this adventure.
Now I'm showing off because that's done in 40 seconds, but it really does take about 5-10 minutes, okay? Who has had a website designer put their website together for them in 10 minutes anywhere? Well, I'm being silly, but yeah, I know you're sitting there going, I don't use the F word here because it's not right, but I'll say shit. You just go, shit, our website designer would take 6 months to get that together. That's because he's a creative. You don't want a creative anywhere near your business unless they've got maths and science skills. Okay, so therefore what happens is that I give that to my art studio or to Jackie Chan, or Jackie Chan did that, and so therefore it turns into this, and I'll scroll down the page. I've got the lights back on for some reason, I don't know why, but yeah. So therefore I'll scroll down, and you'll see that this has considerably more theatre than the other one, and if I put them side by side, which one do you think melted his entire business, okay? Like we're talking overnight. All of this was done, John, what, a month, 5 weeks probably? Because he was not getting back with a lot of the information as quickly as we wanted him to, but it was about 5 weeks? Yep. 5 or 6 weeks. Okay, but still pretty quick. Now this has revolutionised his business because you know what we've done? We've widened the funnel. You see, at the moment you may have a good target audience that you're making money out of, and I'm not suggesting for a moment you still wouldn't identify the most profitable one and go for them, but there may be a chance because you might be a little bit store blind that you're missing out on being able to widen your funnel. So if we Disneyfied this and we created an adventure out of it, we called it the Lost, what do we call it? I forget now, I make shit up every day. The Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure, and we threw a $50,000 prize in, you're saying, well, we haven't got $50,000, neither did he. I got that prize for $1,100, okay? And that prize comes from an insurance company. So who wants to be a millionaire? Channel 9 give none of that money away. That's all given away by an insurance company. Deal or no deal, Channel 7 doesn't give that away. $10,000. And people obviously go nuts and they buy my products or whoever my clients are. And at the end of the month or 2 or 6, when we actually do the draw, we draw one person out and they get to choose from one of 250 envelopes on the table or in a barrel. And in one of those 250 envelopes, a better odds than Lotto, by the way, there will be $1 million, or in his instance, 50 grand. And of course, the insurance scrutineer who comes to your drawer puts the big prize in one of those 250 envelopes. If that person gets it, they get the $1 million on the spot. And if they get one of the 249 other envelopes, where it's a trip to Fiji or a trip to the Gold Coast, whatever it is, you come up with that prize, all right? If you're a lawn mowing company, it'd be a lawnmower. But of course, we know if you were to give away a lawnmower, who gives a shit? You give away $50,000 or $1 million, you've got everybody wanting to come to your... Now, this guy's in town with 4 other opal mines. Do you think that the other opal mines hate me? Yes. And do they hate him? It's really, really easy. Really easy. It's just putting, like the crepe shop, it's just putting theatre to this thing. By the way, I worked with Disney for quite some time, so therefore, you know, we do some tours around the country, and I bring a guy out from Disney that used to work in their resorts division, a lovely guy called John, and he worked for them for 10 years, and we do this tour every now and again called If Disney Ran Your Business, What Would It Look Like? And that's what this is. This is really Disneyland, okay? We're a bit cheekier, maybe a little bit more provocative with some of the advertising when you need to be. I was with an optometrist at Runaway Bay last night, just checking out his operation. He's on board, and we're going to be running some Facebook campaigns on scaring the crap out of people on the Gold Coast, because that's where he wants them, that they could go blind if they don't get an eye check. And we'll give symptoms that if they've got that, there's a good chance that it's telling them that they could go blind. A good chance is like 1%. So the thing is that, you know, we'll be doing some scary ads, and he said to me last night, we don't know how we're going to handle it. This will melt the system. Now, this guy's in a high optometry level. His glasses are $1,000 for a pair of glasses. It's not OPSM, it's, you know, someone. So as long as you're happy to be provocative within the limits of your brand persona, you can turn traffic onto your website real quick. Okay, so that's this guy, and he's a lovely guy. He gave me this lovely testimonial, and he was really glad that it kicked a lot of goals because his male modelling career was not taking off. And so this is what he's got to say.
Change transform to help is with just one idea. The transformation, as I said before, it is just amazing. The transformation, not even in the same class, and has put us in totally another category where we've actually attracted a wider range of customers. Our audience that comes to us, our customers that come to us now is far bigger than it was before, which is what JD talks about, widening the funnel, and that's made a major difference to our business.
Okay, Greg his name is, and he'd laugh with me if he heard that gag because we're pretty good mates now. Now, before we tell you about the program and then we go to lunch and then you come back this afternoon will be very much workshop, okay? So I'm going to show you how you can design a Facebook ad that could possibly, I say possibly because I can't guarantee it, melt your website. And we're going to do a couple of those things this afternoon and put you to the test so you can walk away from here and go, shit, I can do this, you know? So if you're thinking about leaving at lunchtime, you ought to think twice because you're going to get this shit for free, you're not paying anything. Okay, so therefore social media advertising is pretty simple. Everything's about collecting data and that's how you should use it. And so therefore let me take you through how we do it. That's what we do. We put ads out like that. My 812,000 leads ad that you subscribe to beat this one 2-to-1. So which one will I be using in the future? Seinfeld will take a reserve bench and I'll use the one that I've just done. You click on that and then you come to a landing page. You guys have all done it so you know how it works. I've got a doodle video on that landing page which is not autoplay. We do that purposely because that'll piss people off that don't want to watch me in cartoon form. But if you want to learn more about it, you click that on and then you'd register. And this is a good one. It's a Vanuatu resort and it's called Havana. And anyway, good client to have. If you're in the servicing business, you want to try and find clients in idyllic locations like that because you know, if you want a meeting with me, I'll be busy, but them, I'll say, yeah, anytime, you know. So, but I will not be busy, promise. If you join and you own a resort, we'll have a meeting, okay? And so anyway, the thing is that this is a 5-star resort, beautiful place, Vanuatu, great for people in Gold Coast and Brisbane because it's just 2 hours flight. It's fantastic. It's better than Fiji, even 3.5 hours. So anyway, he said to me, look, I'm sick of using Expedia. Who isn't? In the resort game, everyone knows that Expedia has put their prices up and so has What If and Hotel.com and all that sort of stuff. And the people who are using that exclusively in the resort business, we have quite a few resorts on board, they're nuts because they're not taking control on their own destiny. So in their low season, they just drop their pants. The only thing they ought to do is drop their pants because Expedia isn't going to help them. Expedia's got 4 million other resorts. So I said to this guy, you've only got 22 bureaus, and admittedly they're $1,200 a night. I mean, we're talking 7-star here, but they're easy to fill. I've normally got hotels like this one. You know, I've got hotels like this one that are like, I don't know, 400 rooms. They're the more harder ones. By the way, anybody from interstate that might have stayed here last night? Anybody stop here? Mostly all Gold Coasters. We stopped here last night because, you know, we had to set up this morning. Talk about blow you away. When you check in here, 5 minutes after we check in, there's a knock on the door. We don't have the photo, do we? But there's a knock on the door. And there's a guy in the suit and the whole thing, and he goes, I'm Mr. Dwyer. I go, yep. He goes, I'd like to welcome you for staying at the Watermark. You could have chosen any other hotel. And in his hands is a silver tray with Max Brenner strawberries and chocolate fondue. The strawberries have been all cut up so that they look like there's more. And the chocolate fondue, the beautiful Cadbury chocolate with a little skewer thing. And I went, you are joking? And he goes, no, you could have picked any hotel on the Gold Coast. You picked ours. Thank you very much, you know. Anyway, we a bit of a hug and a tongue kiss and then left. And Gail was in the shower at the time. And so when and of course I just gobbled this shit up, like, it's fantastic, you know, Max Brenner, like, on steroids. And she said, who was that? No one? I don't know. Anyway, so therefore, what I normally do is that I'm telling that story, I say to anyone in the room, normally we have 6 people in from interstate, and say, what do you think about that Disney-style service? How good was that? And you can see their long faces, and I go, what's wrong? They go, well, we never got that. I said, what? They said, we never got that. I said, no, you didn't, because that was just bullshit. I made that up because this place is run by morons, okay? And every hotel in the world is run by morons except Walt Disney, okay? And the reason I know is because no one ever does that. They'll give you the day-old fruit in a little basket and they think, oh, well, you know, or a champagne bottle. I mean, please. I mean, that's so yesterday, you know, for goodness sake. No one gives you that theatrical experience. And I got Gail, because I got no idea what these things cost. How much would the Max Brenner $17 thing that we pay at Max Brenner cost? and a dozen strawberries and a little bit of Cadbury chocolate fondue. What was it, $1.60? So if you're charging $300 a night, make it $301.60, okay? But don't do that. And you know, if they did do that, but they never will, because most hotels are run by morons now, they will just put the fruit basket in the room and go, well, we've over-delivered. No, you haven't, dickhead. Everyone does that. It's like the 1% honeymoon rate with the banks. I mean, everyone was doing that until we did the free holiday. Disney, we were staying at the Disney Toy Story Hotel in Shanghai last year. I had to go over and speak at a Wella convention, right? And so therefore we're staying at Disney. And I'll never forget, we walked out on the 5th floor, and there's this there's a glad wrap of balloons outside this door. And I had to take a photo of it. We normally have it here, but I don't. And I went downstairs to the concierge desk, and although it was in China, there was Americans running the joint. And I said to him, mate, can I just ask you, I'm in the marketing game, I've got to ask you this. There's a whole glad wrap sort of outside the door, about 100 balloons up there. He said, oh yeah, that's little Susie's 5th birthday. I said, oh, okay. He said, so what happens is that when little Susie or anyone of her family open the door to go to Disneyland today, all those balloons will come in, and in the balloons is a happy birthday card from Mickey Mouse. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know. Now, that's how you run these places. You just put wow after wow after wow. Do you think if they did that, and I was from interstate, that I'd stay in any other hotel when I came to business on the go? I'd be telling Jody, book me into the Chocolate Strawberry Hotel. And so would you. And it would cost them $1.60 for goodness sake. But then again, you can put your car wash through those automatic car washers, because we've had them come on board, and they're run by dickheads, and they've got you know, I wish we could get them to come back more often. Well, they would if you gave them a movie point, you moron. And then you decided that once they've got X number of movie points, they got 2 tickets to the movies. Then they wouldn't wash their own car. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. It is. Please, don't hang around with someone else. If you're a lawn mowing guy, just give the free window cleaning. I mean, you don't have to have done a uni course for that. I think you just get a bucket with a screechy or something, and you just, you know. A mate of mine's electrician, and he was bitching and moaning about, you know, Gold Coast is just shit. You know, I come from Sydney and nobody gets any PowerPoints up here. I said, you're a moron. And so therefore I said to him, why don't you leave a box of chocolates on the kitchen table or at the front door? A Cadbury milk tray will set you back a whole $6, right? And if you want to get the year-old one, just go to Crazy Clark's. You get it for like $1. Maybe not a good idea. Used by 1963, that'd be good. So therefore do that. And you know what, he did it, and he was tuck shop conversation like that. He said, I couldn't believe it. He said, it's just incredible, because the ladies would go, they'd make the decision on this stuff, you know. And he said, I just got people saying, oh, you know, Gloria at the tuck shop said that you actually, you know, the best electrician in town. She wouldn't have done that had she not a free. And on the chocolates, it just said, look, his name's Rob Brand. And it says, look, you could have chosen any other electrician in the Gold Coast. You chose me. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you. And by the way, I've taken all the money out of your top drawer in the bedroom. Yeah. So with this guy here is that I said, run away from Expedia, at least the reliance on Expedia, and do it yourself. He said, how would I do that? I said, I'll show you. We put Facebook ads to rich people in Brisbane, because rich people in Brisbane can get to Vanuatu within 2 hours. Guess where else they can get to? A place called Melbourne, which is miserable, okay? So why don't we show on our Facebook ad, why don't we hope there's no one from Melbourne? I hope there's no Gen Ys from Melbourne. That's double hatred. So therefore, you've got the choice, Brisbaneites, okay? You've got some money, you can either go to Melbourne and have a shit time, or you can come to Vanuatu and with your wife and probably still pick up chicks. So that's what this is all about. So when they clicked this on, this is what they saw, and there is no voiceover. You don't need a voiceover when you are pretty. I mean, what's his name? The guy in the Australian movies here at the moment lives on Byron Bay, Hemsworth. Does Hemsworth need to say anything, girls? No. Okay, well, this is Hemsworth, okay? This is a Facebook ad, remember? A Facebook ad. Only played to rich people in Brisbane who are stressed out and want a 4-day break. The result of this was we spent $192 in 4 days, and he was booked out for 4 months. So who wants to go to Melbourne? Okay. So we're going to run out of battery on this again, by the way, so I don't know what's happening here. We have to maybe buy a battery factory. See how easy it is? It's just showing them what they have as a choice. It's the Coke Pepsi thing, but on steroids, okay? I tell a lie, it wasn't $190, it was $900 and something we spent in 4 days, and we had to stop it. Okay, and what happens there is that I would sketch up that when we ran that Facebook ad, we'd send them to a landing page, and you'll see there we're not giving anything away. This is a very upmarket resort, so therefore we're saying that you're going to click this and get a VIP package, and when they come through to this, I'll show you the real McCoy. So I give the layout to then Jackie Chan, he puts this thing together, we have a nice video there, I won't bore you with it, but basically it says that indulgence to the highest order, we're going to give you a VIP pamper deal, but because we don't want to give you as good a deal if you're going to lock into an area where we've got low vacancy, we'll give you a better deal outside of the school holidays. But we're not saying that, we're just saying that we're going to treat you like incredibly VIP, just give you details and we'll be back to you within 24 hours. Now, when you tell us that when you want to come, that'll decide whether we're going to give you free trips to Honeymoon Island with a lobster and esky and all that. We'll decide that. No price discount, it's all value add, okay? But we're not going to give you that if you come back to us and you identified yourself as rich because you clicked the ad. We only played this in front of rich people in Brisbane, okay? That's how good this Facebook thing is, right? And so therefore if you say, oh yeah, we want to come in the school holidays, well, danger, we're robbed, we've got to keep her, okay, we do not have to discount. But if he says, look, I'll come in October when we have to fill rooms, mate, we'll give you a trip to the Honeymoon Island, not once, but every day. And every now and again, we'll even pick her up, bring you back to the resort, you know? So that thing was nuts, and that's how we did it. This one here's an interesting one. It's on the Gold Coast. It's a shop called 4217, which I don't know what they were smoking at the time, but that's a postcode. And they decided that would be a good name for a shop. Answer, no. But anyway, that's what they're called, okay, 4217. They're lovely people and they put up with my sarcasm. And they were the only stockist in southeast Queensland that actually has the Bachelor TV show dresses. And they were launching the Bachelor TV show a few months ago and they said, how do we exploit that really quickly? Because like, well, last moment it was. But Facebook's built for last moment. So I sketched up this and said, why don't we just do this? Why don't we give women in your age group, 33 to 55, the chance to win the Bachelor dress? Why don't we actually do that? So we can do that. We can zero in on 30 to 55 women with $1. So that ad then goes to my people. They put that together. You'll see here, vote for your favourite colour of a Bachelor jumpsuit, you know, black, red or whatever. Vote for it to win that. You click on that, and when you click on it, you go to a landing page, which I sketch out like that, but it turns out to be that. And then you just give your details there, and you vote which one, red, blue or green, whatever it is. And just whilst you're on there, we tease you with a few other things. So when you bring them to the landing page, you can actually sell other stuff as well, but on a subtle basis. And in that instance there, they had something like 500 and something leads in the space of like the first week. And all of those leads, of course, need to be followed up and sell dresses to, okay? This one here, there's a laser clinic in Melbourne, and they came on board and they said, look, we're trying to increase, Melbourne being a lot of Greek men, we're trying to increase the women to convince their Greek men to get their hairs waxed or whatever, I don't know. And I think they're nutso, to be honest with you, because 90% of their businesses are women. Just stick with that, okay? You're better to go duck shooting in the duck season than to try selling footballs in the cricket season, okay? Really hard. So therefore, try getting men to do this. It's pretty hard. But anyway, they wanted to do it, so I had to give it my best shot. So we decided that we'd run the Hairiest Man in Victoria contest, and you had to take a photo of your hairy Greek husband, post it up to the Facebook for a chance to win a trip to Hawaii or whatever it might be. Yeah, and all of that. This one here, just recently, this was only just December, is a client called Dr. Damp, and he's all after getting people in the winter time when dampness comes out to actually use his services, but summertime no one wants to talk to him. So December's really, really dry month for him. Not anymore, because what we did is turn on the tap for Facebook, and again, you show some pretty dramatic, provocative photos, and you say, listen, you might be killing your children. So therefore, that's not exactly a nice thing that you should live with. You better fix this, get us to come in and check whether you've got dampness. Really, really simple. And that's what people do. They click that button, they go through, and then they give the detail. Notice how this works on a two-step sell. They click your ad, they go through to a landing page, and then you follow them up. It's called a two-step sell. This is a burger shop in, two burger shops in Brisbane. These guys are great guys. They're really, I get on well with them because they're really larrikins. They remind me of a mate of mine in Sydney who still doesn't know to this time that I'm the one that sends him for the last 25 years the dirty Valentine's Day card every year. He's an Italian guy, so I don't hope that he ever finds out it's me, because I'll have a horse's head next to me on the bed. But I nearly came undone one year because I sent it to him and I said, look, I knew he went shopping with his wife to Westfield a weekend, so I thought I'd screw with his head. I said, I want you to hang upside down, put chocolate all over you and lick it off. And so he's on the phone to me and she's at it again. You got no idea what she wants to do. She wants to put chocolate all over me. Like, oh, wow, these are weird. And I said, okay, fair enough. And I forgot all about it, but we were having a party at another mate's place on the Saturday night. But he was going out on Saturday with his wife to Westfield, and I said in the Valentine's Day card, I'll be wearing a red dress on Saturday and you'll see me. I just want to screw with his head. Everyone that was with a red dress he's trying to work out in Westfield, was that her? And as it turned out, we had a barbecue that night, and one of our best mates' wife was wearing a red dress. And Dominic, his name is, comes up to me and goes, Jodie, well, I'd forgotten all about it. It was 3 days later. I got the attention span of a butterfly. So I go, huh? And he says, it's her. I said, what do you mean it's her? He said, it's Bucko's wife, Jackie. I said, what do you mean it's Bucko? He said, she's in love with me. I said, in your dreams? He goes, no, she is. She's wearing a red dress. And she told me she'd be wearing it. And it all dropped then. I went, oh my God. And I thought, this is going too far. I'm going to break up a marriage. And he said, so what do? I said, I'd leave in a hurry. So if he ever finds out, I'm in deep shit, so keep that between us. So these guys are the same, and what they want to do is fill their burger restaurant between 5 and 7, which is really easy when you know how. And what we do is we just post a whisper word at lunchtime, and that whisper word for them might be moo moo, okay? And if you come into their restaurant between 5 and 7 when no one's there, and you whisper moo moo, you get a free hamburger asterisk as long as you buy another hamburger to the same value. So therefore the $15 hamburgers, because it's all the grilled thing these days, you never get a $5 hamburger anymore, you always have to mortgage your house. So therefore the $15 hamburger cost of goods is $3.20. They give away $3.20 but get 15. Remember? Get one free, okay? Buy one, get one free will never ever work, 2 for 1 will never work as well as buy one, get one free. So anyway, basically they give away a free hamburger worth $3.20. If they make 2 hamburgers, because you bought one for $15, cost to them is $6.40. Guess what the average unit sale is when people come in with their partner to get the free hamburger? $48. Would you give away $3.20 to get $48 every time and pack a restaurant in an hour that no one's ever there between 5 and 7? Easy, okay? That's their website. I won't go on about that. I want to show you one that should... these are all... Oh, who's here a disgruntled... Anybody here who is disgruntled franchisee? Anybody here? Okay, well I've got to show you this anyway because it's a good one to show off with. Hang on, I'll just go back. Okay. This company here is called Mr. Rentals. Mr. Rentals, okay? You may have heard of them. They're like radio rentals. And these franchisees are not real fussed over the fact that the head office doesn't seem to be doing the marketing that they like, and of course their hands are tied. A lot of franchisees are frustrated with that. I said, well, that's really easy. We will implement our Screw a Franchisor program. And so what we did is we set up another business, which you can do for $2, and we called it Fast Rentals. So therefore, we can do at Fast Rentals whatever we like. And all the Facebook ads now go out under Fast Rentals, which could be anyone's sister, it doesn't matter. And when you click on that ad, you go through to a landing page of, you go through to, this damn clicker's not working. You go through to a...
Furniture?
Well, this is the ad, sorry, I'll play the ad. This is the ad on Facebook.
Need furniture, a television, computer, phone, or maybe a refrigerator quickly? Or you might urgently need a washing machine or dryer. But unfortunately, you don't have the finances to buy such items at the moment. Well, guess what? Now there's a way to enjoy any of these things almost instantly. How? Simply by renting them. That's right. Instead of having to find the money to buy such essentials, you can rent for a...
Okay, so you get the message. So they click on that because they're basically we put these people in the category called Centrelink people. And so therefore they rent for a living and they come through to this landing page. We get their details there. But notice the landing page is a company called Fast Rentals. Now what does Fast Rentals do with that data? They sell it to the guys who are very frustrated Mr. Rentals for $1. See how clever this is? So no longer can any franchisee out there have to put up with a franchisor that's not keeping their promise, because we'll show them how to set up a third-party business and just buy leads. So the marketing's done by a completely different company, but they buy a lead for $1. Okay. This one here is an interesting one, Gosford, New South Wales, and he is an aluminium fence contractor. And he was putting out letterbox brochures in older areas because obviously that's where the paling fences might be falling down, and getting no traction at all. He put stupid Facebook ads out, nothing. I said, mate, this could be fixed in a real hurry. So we just ran the ugliest back fence in Australia contest in Gosford, and that's the ad there. And you had the chance, if you took a photo of your ugly fence and posted it to his Facebook page, of winning a $5,000 aluminium fence makeover, which cost him $1,000. 3 days he had 2 years worth of leads. We had to stop it on the 3rd day. We just flushed out every single person that would be interested in an aluminium fence. Really, really simple. And we do the same thing with kitchen renovators, the ugliest kitchen in Australia contest. They just take a photo of the kitchen. They actually come out of the woods. They come and basically say, come and get me, you know. Who thinks this is sort of clever? Yeah, okay, so nobody's doing this. Nobody does it because they don't know how. They're suffering from you know what. This is another example of that ad, so therefore we show them, you know, just post a photo of your ugly back fence and have the chance of winning a brand new. But they then basically give you their details. Kitchen renovators, the same thing there. That's a pretty schmick kitchen, isn't it? Doesn't need a makeover. So we'll just be silly with some of the photos and that just flushes out everyone that wants a new kitchen. Okay guys, so look, I'm going to save the next one, build repetitive trade, until after lunch. But before we go to lunch, what's the time now? We've got 10 minutes before we go to lunch. What I might do, we got battery off that, or we get battery? Okay. Is it okay with you guys if just before 10 minutes we go to lunch, I show you how you can work with me? Is that all right? Okay. That really wasn't the response I was looking for. No, we'd rather go to lunch because it sounds like there could be a pitch coming up. You know? Okay, so therefore we have a program, if we can zip the slides for it, we have a program which is, I think, a pretty good deal, but you don't expect me to say anything else. We've got 2 programs. We only have 2 programs. These speakers, they've got these, 15 different programs. It just, I don't know how they live. And one is for a business that's probably doing under $500,000. So if you're doing under $500,000 or you're just starting up, this program would be for you, and it's called the WOW Academy program. There it is up there. And it's normally $14.97 a month, and when we hold these events, we cut it by 2/3 because we can. And if you've given up a day off work, then we have to give you an offer. Now, this is not price discounting. You might sit there, hang on, that's hypocritical. No. If you're holding a launch of something and someone gives up a day of their time, or you're holding a weekend, or you're holding a dinner party with a movie, or whatever it might be, you better make sure you give them a special offer because they've just given up a day of their life. So anyway, this thing is $497 a month membership, and 12 months, of course, it's a 12-month club. We don't sell anything less than that. You multiply that out as $5,900, okay? If anyone wants to pay up front into this club, I'm just doing up my shoelace, I'm going to trip over myself. We give a, what is it? What do you give if they pay up front? The whole, we get $1,000 off, don't we? You see, I'm really professional when it comes to the sell. So anyway, if you pay up front, you get $1,000 off. Let me run through what you get in it so you can see how valuable it might be for you. Okay, so therefore, yeah, we won't do any of that. You've heard all that from me. It's perfect if you own a business, want to start a business, looking after marketing. So anybody here that might be a marketing manager for a business? Anybody here for a marketing manager? Because you are, this is a swipe file for you, okay? I'm not 23, I've done all this shit quite a bit, so you can bet your life that in all these resources that I've shown you, which already would be the likes of this thing, which you get online, okay? So there's that, and then there's that big WOW Central thing. You'll see a bit of that in a moment. I think you might, you might like to sort of think about it yourself. Even if you're an employee, you can use this stuff and hopefully be a superstar. Okay, so therefore, this clicker doesn't work. Okay. Every fortnight we have a live teleconference. What I'm trying to do here is still make money, because that's what I'm in business for, and you are too, but give enough of me that you feel comfortable that it's not going to be one of these things where you invest in and then I slip off and you get some young kid. And I had to sort of put this together in such a way that we could still enjoy, a nice life, but you get enough of me so that ever comes a time that you want advice, you've got access to me via these sorts of things, teleconferences, and via the Facebook club, and via 3 big events like we hold here. Actually, we hold them here throughout the year. But I had to separate that from the private coaching, because the private coaching one is $2,500 a month, and you get unlimited access to me. I'll just do your marketing, okay? I ask you if you wanted to, you don't have to, but I said, look, can you get out of the way and let me do it? And what happens with that one is that we have a lot of time together, and I put together marketing plans, okay? So for your business, you get like, I don't know, a 30 or 40 or 50 page marketing plan. Now, the grader was paying $400 and something thousand, so for someone to pay just under 30 for that, I think is pretty good. And if you ask yourself, if your business over $500,000 turnover, and you're paying a secretary behind the desk, 40 or 50 grand a year, ask yourself, do you think you might get a return on me running your marketing for you versus the girl behind the desk? And I think you'd probably find you get a better ROI. So there's the 2 programs. So this is the first one, the $497 a month one. Basically live teleconference, every fortnight. They're all recorded, so for argument's sake, you couldn't get on and ask me questions on that one. You can listen to it whenever you want. The second thing is the private Facebook club. You've seen what that's all about. You can actually just Facebook message me at any time you like. And normally it's, what do you reckon, Jody? Is it normally within a day, day and a half? I mean, there might be the odd time if I'm on a plane, it might take 2 days to get back to you, but pretty much it's, you know, it's funny, that lady from the caravan park, you wouldn't believe it, I've created a monster. She asked for something, I don't know, yesterday, and I flicked it back very quickly, and quick layout of a brochure or Facebook ad, what have you. And she's the young marketing manager thing. She wants to kill me. She just wants to kill me, because last night when I got back from a few meetings, there's another 5 or 6 posts there. Oh, can you do this brochure? Can you do that? All I ask is that we just be fair. I mean, obviously, if you know it gets ridiculous and it turns into private coaching, I have to put my hand up and say, look, I think you might want to swap to the bigger program. So all I ask is be fair with it. But you know, it's there for you to use. And I want you to use it. It's just if you send through 100 posts a day, it might be a bit hard. Okay, so therefore you also get this thing. I won't not go through this, but what I put together, because no one knows how to put together a marketing plan. So what I did is I put this manual together. I'm not going to show you much of it because it'll bore you shitless, but basically in here, it's pretty thick as you can see, is how to put a marketing plan together. What I'd do if I was you, you get the electronic version of that. I would have that in your office and always just have it as a resource, but I would be jumping on Facebook more often and just say, JD, what should I do about this? I mean, the questions that I get are as simple as, JD, should I advertise this on Facebook or should I put out a brochure? And I will get back to them straight away and say, no, look, in that instance, it's probably a brochure, because you've got a lot of, you know, the target audience are well within the 5 kilometre, okay? Okay, so then the next one is Wow Central. You saw exactly what that was all about. Okay, so that's that big electronic library that I showed you with all the stuff in there. And yeah, basically that's 24/7. You get access to that right throughout your 12-month membership, so you can just pinch whatever you want to pinch out of that. Then the big book, I've already shown you that, okay? And then this is, I think, valuable. It's for you to judge, but what we do is every fortnight we actually have a webinar, and that happens to be the guy from Disney there. He ran Disney Resorts for 10 years, so I don't have so much other speakers on my webinars. You know, who's ever been to multi-speaker events with a whole bunch of speakers on there? Anyone? These people are mad. I will never, ever, ever introduce you to another speaker. It'd be like Coke introducing you to Pepsi. Why would I want to do that? And yet all of these people that run these multi-speaker events invite me to speak on this stage. Like, terrific, I'll steal your customers. Why would you do that? It's just nuts. So don't expect on my webinars that I'll be saying, oh, look, you can talk to Fred, he's another marketing coach, or, you know, I'll be introduced. No, I won't. I've got my own little team of Rolodex people. And I'm only telling you this because you should do it too. The people that run the seminar industry are nuts. Nuts. I remember on one occasion, a marketing guy, put me on his stage, and I swooped in and picked up $90,000 worth of work or something, and he rings me up the next day and he goes, oh, thank you. You pinched a couple of people who already said they were going to sign up to my program. I said, well, you're a dickhead. You're Pepsi, I'm Coke. Why would you get me to speak at your conference, you idiot? You know? He goes, I reckon I'm Coke. Okay, either, right? Whatever, okay? But Pepsi just stole your audience, so don't invite. So what this is that these people in the webinars, they will be industry experts. So it will be someone who spent some time perhaps at Apple, someone who spent some time at Disney. Other times it'll be me. I have a camera above my head, so therefore I actually show how to turn ads from shit to gold. I'm a bit cheeky, as you've seen. So therefore I'll say, look at this ad in the local magazine or newspaper. Let me show you how it's done. And I'll do it on the spot without a net. And what you'll see this afternoon, by the way, and it's done for a reason, is you'll see me working without a net. I haven't met any one of you. I've met Barbara, of course, but I haven't met too many of you other people. And if you come up here for a hot seat, we bring your website up, you'll see me redo your website like bang, on the spot like that. And I'm telling you, there are no other speakers that I've ever met anywhere in the world that do that. They've got their script, they stick to it, and they will not take questions. They won't do it because they're one-trick ponies. They're good at Facebook, or they're good at webinars, or they're good at websites, but they haven't got the whole Ashton Circus thing happening. They will not take questions. Okay, so therefore that's the webinars. They're for an hour, and they're normally on a Thursday morning on a fortnight basis at 8:30. If you miss it, don't worry, they're all recorded, and you go onto our YouTube channel and watch them. Okay, so that's all there for you. And this one here is a biggie, Supplier Network Rolodex. And I don't need to go through that. Basically, you get access to everyone that we work with. And look, this is the sell bit, but let me say to you, I think it's worth saying. I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole, you know, the webinar people or seminar people. Who's been there where it's all stacked up to be worth 142,000, but today it's only, have you seen all that? Oh God, I want to do it just to take the piss out of myself, but I can't. So therefore, but this is one thing that's probably, I did pinch from one of the seminar speakers because I think it's probably worth it, and that is that if you pay me $497 a month, and that adds up to just under $6,000 over the year, and how much is a new client worth? So if I was to pull one of these things out of my backside for you and did what we did with the aluminium fence guy, where he gets 2 years worth of leads, bang, like in Facebook in 3 days, what would that be worth to you? And I only say that because I think it's a good justification. If you go, okay, well, 497 multiplied by 12, that's $5,900. What would 1 or 2 new customers be worth? So just do that maths in your head, if you like, because it'll work out, you'll work out whether or not it's worth money. These guys were paying me that. Again, I know that's a bit of a wanky seminar thing, but it's best to show that to you so you know the value of this. I'm not being silly about it. That's just what they were paying. Okay, we just go through them. I have to put a value against this because that's the way it is. I've signed a form that I'm a seminar speaker wanker, and so therefore I've got to add all that up. Okay. Okay. So therefore that adds up to... Actually, I didn't want it to add up to 32,000. It added up to 32,000. Let me just go through that again, just in case you missed it. Okay. And when we were doing this, like, they're all fair dinkum prices. We hadn't put, like, we put against the, where is it, the Wheel of Wow thing. Okay. Yeah, okay. Fuck. I click it. That Wow Central thing, I mean, I put it on this thing up here. I put, what do we put against it, 1,900? That should be like stupid $1,000. You can get in there and just pinch whatever you want. Anyway, enough of all that. It's basically $497 per month. Before I ask if you want a form, who thinks that who thinks that you might have less competition if I was your marketing manager? Anybody got a feeling that would be the case? Yeah, okay. We're not bullshit. It's not the typical seminar stuff where it's get them high, make them buy. We're fair dinkum. And people say to me, well, can you guarantee it? Can you guarantee it? And I say, no, I can't guarantee it because I don't know, your background. I don't know whether you got out of jail. But I think by doing what I've done here today and show you enough case studies, you can see that this stuff is not something we've just pulled out of our backside yesterday. You can see it's a system, it's a formula, and it's fair dinkum. There's no white man's witch doctor magic to anything that we've got here. It's really common sense on steroids. But I'm guessing that where you're sitting, if you're a startup, or if you happen to be, sort of doing $200 or $300 or $500,000 a year, am I close to the mark that you are running so fast you haven't got time to sit down and put a marketing plan together? Would that be fair to say? Yeah. And could I ask, just as a show of hands, who has got a marketing plan actually put together? Who's got one? I know it's only going to be the 1 or 2. And yet when I ask people, and I didn't do it today and I should have, what's the most important thing in business? They say sales and marketing, because without a sale you've got no business, right? And I say, okay, well, who's got an accountant? Everyone puts their hand up. Who's got a solicitor? Everyone puts their hand up. I go, okay, 30 seconds ago you told me that sales or marketing skills is the most important thing in business, because if you don't make a sale, who's got anyone showing them how to market or sell? Nothing, just like we saw here. So it's really, really crazy. And you can go out and get a kid to do your marketing, and you can pay them, I don't know, these days, what do kids get, $40,000 or $50,000 to become a marketing manager, whatever it might be. Or you can join this. And if you find that basically, it's a waste of time, that it's just a good show, you haven't really pissed a lot of money up against the wall. It's pretty low. We've made the entry point on this low. Why did we do that? Because I want to stimulate your business so you'll turn into what? It's called P for private client. I want to really spin your wheels fast on this so you go, look, this is just fantastic. I want to step up to the 30 grand program. I want you all the time, So therefore, look, we're about to go to lunch. We've actually got lunch outside for you guys, so therefore we've gone all out with this. We've made sure that we looked after you, so you don't have to go downstairs. We've got lunch outside here for you. Who's interested in coming on board? Show of hands. Just put your hands up, because the girls will give you a bit of paper. Just put your hand up high. I don't know where the girls are. Oh, we've got boys. We've got girls dressed as boys, okay? Okay. It's funny. Just put your hand up, because otherwise they won't know who you are. So just keep your hand up, please. Yep. Sort of at the speed of light, if you could. Yeah, okay. Okay. For those of you who are sitting on the fence and thinking, well, yeah, I don't know about this, let me make a pretty good offer for you, okay? Because I'm sitting here, and I'm a salesman, so look, forgive me. I'm not going to do the whole silly thing, but I'm going to make it so irresistible for you that you'd be mad if you don't put your hand up. So this is a sales tactic. Watch what I've done. I say, who's interested? And maybe a dozen of you will put your hand up. That's fine, okay? I'm going to make it really easy for all of those that didn't put their hand up. I'm going to say to you that if you join this club for $497 a month, and it's a 12-month club, if in 31 days' time you find that I was bullshit and that this was crap and it was just a good show, I'll give you your money back. I can't see that it can be much better than that. I will give you your money back. So you've got the guarantee that if you join, same with anybody on here, by the way, where's the website that people go on here? Okay, so if you're wanting to do this on Facebook Live, if you're interested in, we have a website, I'll tell you about it in a minute, you can just go. So have you got that? Is it WOW, whatever it is? Okay. So therefore, you can't get much further than that. So if you find this is BS and you get to the 30-day mark, just put your hand up, there'll be no questions asked, we'll redeposit the money back into your bank account. Who thinks that's pretty fair? Okay. Well, if that is so fair, what have you got to lose? There is nothing to lose. Why don't you test it for a month and find out whether this is bullshit? And I know you won't. The reason I can say this is that we've never had a refund. We've never had a refund. Okay, so therefore, if you do ask for your money back in 30 days' time, you'll be the first, and we'll be happy to give it to you. But we've never had a refund. And why do you think we've never had a refund? Anybody want to take a guess at that? Do you reckon we work damn hard to make sure that you enjoy that first 30 days and you get a shitload of value out of this? Of course. You can't offer a money back guarantee unless you actually are pretty confident that you'll never have to give any money back. Otherwise, that tactic of getting a better close is not real smart, because you get $500, you give it back again. I don't think that makes much sense. So based on that, anybody else interested? Put your hand up, you're going to get your money back? Okay, well if you are, then talk to one of the girls down the back afterwards, because I can't. do any more of this. This is hard yards, you know, just do Facebook Live. So we're going to start up a JD Monday night, I'm a frustrated Tonight Show host, so therefore we'll run a little Tonight Show for half an hour every Monday night. We'll stream it out into Los Angeles, into London, into my stuff. This is transferable, I can sell this anywhere, you know. So all we have to do is drive traffic to that, and I don't have to jump on the Partridge Family bus anymore. You know? And I've convinced Tim to do the same thing, and I want to convince you. And this afternoon, when we go through some of this kind of stuff, you've got to use this thing. You've got to use it. I mean, why in their right mind? I know I'm going to probably get a better close rate when you're one-on-one, but that doesn't matter. If I'm talking to 100 people here, I could be talking to 1,000 people on that thing. I mean, I'm not at the moment. You don't do it at night time. You don't do it on school hours. So in this thing here, we'll fluctuate with dozens and dozens today, but if you do it at night time, this one I did 2 weeks before Christmas, we had 400 people on. And when people say to you, don't do Facebook Live any more than 20 minutes because they'll get bored shitless, not if you've got good content. Because guess what, we had 400 on in the beginning at 6 o'clock with this 2-hour function in Brisbane. It was a function like this. We got 70 people in the room, I got 400 on that thing. And I was blown away. I should not have been that surprised because I knew the power, but I was blown away. And so therefore I just said to 72 people, I'm not interested in you anymore. No, I didn't. But guess what? The reason 55 grand in sales is pretty extraordinary is because when I'm doing the sell, which you've just seen, guess what? The damn battery ran out. It wasn't this chap doing it, it was like another guy. The battery ran out. And so therefore they never got to see my sell. It just went out. By the time we got to do battery on it, went from 400 to 11 viewers, you know, because once they're gone, they're gone. That was 8 o'clock at night. They stayed with me. It went from 400 to 300, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So at 8 o'clock when I was about to do the sell, we still had 300 of the 400. So if your content is good, and hopefully they'll stick with you. Don't let these social media people say to you, you better make it just 15 minutes. That's bullshit. And guess what? They didn't even hear the sell, but the next morning by lunchtime we had 55k worth of orders. Now, they didn't order then, we had to close them over the next 2 days because they didn't hear the sell. So they said, could we have a call with JD on the phone or could we talk to JD or whatever? But over the course of the next 48 hours, even without the sell, we turned that into 55k. So who here would be interested, even this afternoon, of me showing you how to do this stuff and drive traffic to it? Anybody interested in that? Okay. Who here is scared shitless to get in front of a camera? We can fix that too, okay? You know how you fix that? Just do an interview. Any clients that come on board with our thing, I just show them how to do it via an interview. So I act as the Ray Martin and we just sit down and let's just say, for example, you were nervous. Your nervous just goes out the window when I say, look, like this guy that I'm telling you about, the property developer, I said, jump in the plane, get up here, mate. So he came up on Christmas Eve. That's how dedicated we are. And we had a few drinks afterwards, but in the morning we just went to a little green screen studio here in the Gold Coast. And it cost him a few $100s, and I interviewed him. I said, tell me, his name is Anthony Edmonds. I said, Anthony, 73% of Australians retire broke. Why is that? And he said, well, it's because, they don't think about investing in property and getting passive income. And if they do it right, I can show you instances where we borrow $350,000 to buy a home in the right area, near schools and near Westfields, got transport, They get a high rental for that, which means they get a house for free. I went, and I'm the interviewer, of course, and I go, free? He said, well, how that works, they borrow, X 100,000, and the repayments are $2,600 a month, they get $2,700 a month by tenants. Now, I know what's going to happen when we actually promote that on this thing. He's never going to have to do one of these ever again. Because he's been busting his guts holding these things. He doesn't get this sort of number. He gets like 19 or 12 or something for the seminar. He said he held one. The last one was a tragic one. He had 2 people there. Can you imagine if I came out in that 2 people, I'd just go to the pub, forget the microphone. So this is going to really be transforming his business big time, and it can transform yours too. And I hope it does ours. I'll let you know in 12 months' time, but I don't want to be doing this stuff. This is hard yards. And so, it's good money. It is good money, there's no question about that, but it's pretty hard yards. And so therefore, if I can do a little Tonight Show on Monday night, and at the end of it do a sell, I'll never get the conversion. I don't know how many people put their hand up there, it might be 12 or 15. So if we've got 100 people in the room, and that's not 100 buying units because there's husbands and wives here, so if there's buying units of 70 in this room, and we sell 15 of that, then what's that? That's a 20%, 18, 20% conversion. And that's a bit better than the average. The average with this sort of stuff is about a 10, 15% conversion. So if you get a 16, 17, you've got to be pretty happy. Because some people, it's just not right for them at the time. It's not because they don't think it's good. You won't get that conversion through that. You're not going to get that conversion through that thing. But even if you've got half that, but you've got triple or quadruple the numbers of people watching, same result. And I don't care whether you're into physiotherapy, whether you're a life coach, whether you're an accountant, We can show you how to do this shit because we've worked it out. I'm not saying we're infallible, but we've worked out how to drive traffic to it, and particularly the traffic of a night time. This is hard yards. Of a daytime, at school days, they're at work, but we can show you how to drive traffic, and it's done through the means of did you see what happened with the Havana Resort? Okay, so therefore if you know who your audience is, you can drive them to a Facebook Live pretty easily, but you've got to be a little provocative or you've got to be a superstar. So when people say to me, how do you get free publicity? I said, there's only two ways. Either one, you invent something, and not many of us do that. I mean, anybody invented a new Rubik's Cube lately? Okay, no. Or number two, you're provocative. Because a journalist will not want to talk to you online or offline if you're not either one of those things. You've either invented something or you're provocative. In my instance, I haven't invented direct response, but I certainly invented the way that we put the pixie dust wow factor stuff on it. So I've invented something that most people don't use. 95% of people don't use this. That's why they're going broke. You know that 50% of Australian businesses that open this year will be broke within 12 months? Sorry, 3 years. Within 3 years, 50% will go down. It's not because they don't have a good product, or so it's because they don't know how to do this shit. They don't know marketing. They're too busy sponsoring the Brisbane Broncos and saying, oh, we're going to build our brand. Good on you. You've got no food on the table. So the other way of getting a journalist interested in what you've got is to actually be provocative. Now, you know me now, you've seen 3 or 4 hours of this, I'm a bit cheeky and so forth, and I don't do anything to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't go into any of that. You know it's a gag, it's a joke, for God's sake. Don't take it seriously. I mean, you reckon John Moo and myself are great mates? Of course we are, but we've never said anything nice to each other, have we? Never, okay, yeah. So I'll have a go at him for his height, he'll have a go at me for my age, and it just goes backwards and forwards, and because, you know, we're good mates. So guys, that's it. I'll say it once again. If you've got the forms, can you just give them to either Jody or to Gail? And if you wanted a brochure, just to learn more about this, just grab one down the back there. That's little Jackie Chan's got them. Can you do like, okay, good. And if you're interested in the private coaching, what we'll do with that is to just see the girls down the back, and we'll organise a call next week. So if that is you, if you're doing a $1 million turnover, or you're doing more than that and you want some private coaching, it's 2497 because everything has to end at a 7, so it's $2.5 a month by 12 months. And all we do with that, let me just say this so it's not a shock to you, if you're interested in the private coaching, we just ask for 2 months up front. And the reason I do is because I let you bail whenever you want. And you can imagine, to put this huge marketing plan together, I'm not even going to pick that up again. So to put this huge marketing plan together, you know what shits me? And those bulldog clips. I want to find out who invented, there's a number of things that shit me in life. Well, small people, I get really worried about short people. They're just spooky, they're quite carnies. But the other thing is that I do not like paper clips. Just staple the damn thing, and these pull quite. You see what's happening, you know? And documents without page numbers. Who's been in the meeting where they go, now let's turn to the next page. Where is that? What is it? Oh, the one with the yellow graph. They've all got yellow graphs. Why did you put page numbers on it? You did that. So, and office dividers. You know those little office dividers? Just build a wall. I can hear what she's saying. That's stupid. That little thing there is supposed to make privacy. What's that all about? So therefore, all we ask if you're into the private coaching is that we get 2 months up front from you, so there's 2 times the 2.5, and that's just to protect me, because if I'm going to really be putting in some heavy effort in that first month with phone calls and with putting your plan together, and you piss off, I'm not going to chase you to $2.5 I'm telling you. It's not worth my while. I'll just hold on one of these. I'll hold Facebook Live to replace you. In our private coaching, we have 50 clients. We used to have 60, but we have 50 now because I want to live a bit longer. And what happens is that every time we lose 3 or 4, I hold one of these. Pretty simple, okay? So you multiply 50 by 30, there's $1.5 million, okay? So that's what comes into our world from the private coaching. So because it's a 12-month program, some people stick around, but most leave after 12 months because they've learned the shit and they go and do it themselves. So if we've got 3 spots, I don't know what we've got at the moment, I don't know, 3 or 4, we're going to finish at the end of this month. We just do this and fill them. And the reason I'm saying that is that if you're in the advisory business, think about the same thing. Think about how much money you want to earn, how much you want to put people into the funnel, and when people leave, just fill it up all the time. So I don't have to go out looking for 50 new people every month. I just look for 3 or 4 each month and fill it back up to 50. And when we get to that, we just put on a waiting list. They might have to wait a month or 2. And that's the way it works. And so therefore, if you're into that, all we ask is 2 months up front, so that if you piss off the 3rd month, at least that's covered me putting a lot of elbow grease in. And that hasn't happened too often. It's happened once or twice, and somebody got sick and had to move overseas and all that sort of stuff. They didn't leave because I was a scam, but they had to leave. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. I mean, the vast majority of people stay right through the 12 months with us, but I respect if you're going to go down that path, just accept that you pay 2 months up front so that if you did piss off the 3rd month, at least I'm covered. Any questions before we go to lunch? I think everyone's probably hungry and want to get a drink, so the lunch is out there, and if you've filled in the form, give it to the girls down the back. Okay, and standing ovation, by the way, too. Yeah. Guys, yeah, well, thank you very much for being on board now. You've heard all of that, so therefore on Facebook Live, if you're interested in joining our program, the $497 one, which we think is pretty good value, then you know to go to wheelofwow.com.au and you can sign up there. And if you wanted to speak to anyone from our crew personally about anything, just email us at info@theinstituteofwow.com. So that's info@theinstituteofwow.com. And if you're interested in private coaching, then just email us again at that, which is info@theinstituteofwow.com. So thanks for hanging in there. It's a pretty long broadcast. I don't think too many people do 3.5 hour Facebook Live. So if you've been there for the whole lot of it, thank you very much. See you next time.